Hello.
And I think we're live.
Ooh.
Double check for you.
There we are.
There you are. Hey, oh my God, it's us.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, this will be fun.
Oh, man. Get the nerves off. Get the nerves off. Performance
I'm still
anxiety.
posting in places.
Ah! I see other nerds. Hello, Earl King. Ah.
Aw, snap.
Hello to everyone that's showing up.
Yeah. We got plenty of time here. We still gotta get everybody in the game. Oh, look, it's Manda, the wonderful artist behind my boy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Whew. But, yeah, no pressure. No pressure. First time, I was gonna say, as I made that distinction clear when I tried to talk to Monty earlier, this is not my first time DMing. This is the first time streaming being a DM. Wait, that's still confusing. You know what I mean.
And
Also, holy crap.
Yeah, thank you, Earl King. You made me realize that Streamlabs forgot to remember that I turned off my alert boxes. So hey, now we won't have any more of those pop up during us streaming.
Good.
That's good.
A real mood setter.
I mean, I'm the only one who'll be affected by all the random shit I set for my notifications.
Oh, yeah. Oh, guys. So, referring to what Jake is typing out in chat, I shared with them the Chult personality song I made up, and they're already working on lyrics for it.
Fantastic.
Should we actually explain what that is for those who don't know?
Yes, I will post a link in the chat if you'll allow for permissions. I have to go into music.
Sure, pop on in there and Jake can do that, yeah, because I forgot I modded Jake years ago.
Because Jake is a good boy and he deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if not for him, this would be my first time playing like something like 5 years.
I was gonna say, Jake, you need to get faster on this sheet. Alright. Hold on. Gotta try this again. There we go. It was not said because it was the same one as identical 30 seconds ago. Well, beads, let me try this again. There we go.
Yes.
So, thanks to the brilliant mind of Chocolate Zombie when we were brainstorming this. Note, he will be in later. It's just that he has to deal with work, but he will join the session as soon as he's done. When he came up with the name Chult personality, of course this popped into my head, and I had to follow through on it. And of course Jake is already working on lyrics as well as I think Cryptic was wanting to lend that out as well.
Saves me the trouble of making them, so yes, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was already saying dancing lights.
Well, I mean, you saw my take earlier of like Mordekainen or Big B.
Yep, the Chult personality.
All right.
Somewhere Ed Bosco is screaming and he doesn't know why.
Isn't that always him, though?
Yeah.
I feel like that's just Bosco on a regular day.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, sometimes he's paid for it.
Oh, yeah. 10 out of 10. Thank you, Manda. That great. I appreciate that. But yeah, trying to work out the nerves.
Yes.
Do you guys have anything you wish to do before we start in the session proper?
How's
I
the volume for
believe
everybody,
so.
chat?
Yeah, let me know ahead of time here, because I can boost my desktop audio as well as boost everyone in Discord if I need to.
And I feel like we should all properly introduce ourselves.
Well, yes, why don't you start?
Hello, my name is Dylan13. This is my first actual like stream D&D session. Not my first D&D session though. And my dogs are barking outside.
They're rooting you on, DeLuna.
They're saying I seem a bit quiet, which is typical. I'll bring my mic a little bit closer as well.
And plus, I just boosted you to like 123%, so that should help too.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds pretty clear in my ears.
Yeah, same.
Yep.
Yeah, you sound good to me.
Huzzah.
All right, Draco, how about you go next?
Oh, hey everyone, it's Draco Magnius. I do Let's Plays on the YouTube sometimes when work isn't getting in the way. This is my first D&D stream that I've been part of, but I've played D&D over the years. I originally played 3.5 way back when, but I've played some recent 5e, so I'm pretty up to snuff. I think that's everything. Oh, I'm also a voice actor. I do have a Twitter that you could all check out if you like. I'm at dmagnius. I think that's all of the social things I have to plug.
All right. Then how about you, Caitlin?
Hello, Caitlin C37. I am an artist. I paint. This is not my first stream dungeon D&D thingamabob. So yeah, that's it for me.
All right, great. And also my buddy Shay, who is my Pathfinder GM and one of my best buddies, the guy I was talking about knowing for nearly a decade now. He's in the chat, as well as thank you, DJ Mamiya. Oh, I'm Mamiya for the follow. I guess I should introduce myself since it is my channel. Hi, it's your boy, Burnout. You know me. I played a lot of D&D over the years, both Pathfinder, 3.5, no 4th edition, thankfully, from at least the stories I've heard. At least one... what?
I've played 4th. I wouldn't recommend it.
That's the general consensus I hear.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. And aside from a one-shot that was not streamed during a big online friends meetup, this is my first time playing 3.5 in 2 to 3 years. Like, I hadn't even started streaming the last time I played 5. So this will be real fun, and we're testing out some of the homebrew I've created for my upcoming homebrew anthology, Finn Rook's Anthology of Anomalous Archetypes, which I'm still working on a new druid for. Oh, jeez. Giving a druid the power of all 4 seasons, yeah, that's not hard at all.
Yes. For when you want to be more than just a ladrin. You can get seasons for your season, so you can season while you season.
All of the seasons!
I mean, yeah, I am. I immediately opened them up, then saw, okay, that's not a lot to work with, but I'll make it work. But yeah, other than that, we'll let Zombie introduce himself during the break, so I'm ready to go whenever you guys are.
Alright, and for those of you who are not familiar, I shall be your master of ceremonies. I am Milla Ninja. This is definitely not my first stream, but this is my first time DMing on a stream. And you can find me on Twitter at MillaNinjaNerd. You can also find me occasionally streaming on twitch.tv/MillaNinja. And also, every other Monday night, you can normally find me on twitch.tv/LetJake when Jakels himself runs Trials of Eidos, where I play on that. That game is a little bit of a hiatus because, you know, Jake's getting ready to move, but it's, you know, kind of helped me gear up for this, I guess. But, that's enough out of me. And if everybody that is currently here is present and accounted for, yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the session proper.
Oh, I just realized I should probably get my character sheet out.
Be important, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a bit. They were saying I was a little loud, so did you change my volume a little bit?
Yeah, I already edited you the second I saw it.
Alright.
Oh no, it's not letting me move my character sheet off the screen. I might have to try something here in a second.
Double click it and it minimizes.
Okay.
Oh, you could also do, there's like the two little squares on the sheet, and that'll make it a window instead of putting it in the game
no.
proper.
Oh, okay. Then I will do that.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I do. I just have windows upon windows.
I know that feeling.
All right. So, we begin with our current setting in the Forgotten Realms of Faerun, in the northwestern coastal town of Baldur's Gate. It is currently in kind of early spring. A lot of the plantings kind of already happened. And just to kind of set the scene. And for the past several days, the talk of the streets and taverns has all been about the so-called death curse. A wasting disease afflicting everyone who's ever been raised from the dead. Victims grow thinner and weaker every day, slowly but steadily sliding towards the death they once denied. When they finally succumb, they can't be raised, and neither can anyone else, regardless of whether they've ever received that miracle in the past. Temples and scholars of divine magic are at a loss to explain a curse that has affected the entire region, and possibly the entire world. So, we basically find ourselves on the hillside manor, just on the outskirts of Baldur's Gate. And we currently find ourselves inside this very illustrious looking manor. Lots of white and blue doilies and drapes that are kind of hung around in this entryway. And we currently see ourselves with our cast of characters. So let's go ahead and go around and start with Draco. Please go ahead and describe your character.
Lindan Ilworth is a half-elven man. He's got like a full beard going on. Of course, the pointed ears. He's wearing a nice dark blue coat, some light gray pants, a standard witch's hat, basically. And walking alongside him is a small tan Shiba Inu with like a white belly, a little white in her face, and a dark blue handkerchief around her neck. Both of them have half moon iconography on them. Dan has like a little ascot that has a half moon, and the dog has a half moon on her bandana. And they're just walking along, looking very out of place. Especially Daddy's never been in a place with this much opulence before. Makes him a little nervous.
All right, and kind of off in another part of this room as we basically keep looking inside the entryway. Vaughn, go ahead and describe your character.
Okay. Well, Enoch is very interesting to look at first glance because, well, he doesn't hide the fact that he has basically this large, like, metal covering across his face that seems almost, like, fused to his skull. He also has a black eye with a blue iris that seems to have kind of like a lizard or amphibious kind of pupil. And he's also wearing like a leather like shoulder collar getup that seems to have a built-in poncho around it just to keep him warm because he doesn't seem to have a shirt because it looks like it'd be hard to find something to fit because he has some kind of strange metal device or object embedded into his chest, alongside a strange metal right hand. And he's just kind of like staring around looking just as out of place as Dan because he's a little country boy and he's kind of in this like sensory overload of taking in all this stuff that he's never seen before while also trying not to touch it because he's afraid he might break something.
Interesting. As strange as Enoch might be, well, that could be relatively subjective, especially when compared to our next character, Caitlin. Please go ahead and describe yours.
Nonsense Wick is completely normal. He is a very tiny little lad at all of 2'5". He has his shiny little armor over top a plaid shirt. Looks like maybe a little farmer boy at some point, with a very long and rather pretty orange scarf covered up and around his face. Uh, his eyes glow with a holy light, of course, and not at all with an odd, rather fiery look to them. And out of the top of his helmet grows a pumpkin vine.
Right.
And
Well,
he is also a little farmer's boy. He is touching things though, very curiously.
I love how we're all just way out of place.
As you do.
yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, out of place in this very lavish looking manner. You have been invited to. Oh, wait a second. I almost forgot somebody. Oddly enough, currently there's only 3 of you in this room, but suddenly there is a bright flash and a blue glittering mist erupts out of in front of the doorway. And DeLuna, please go ahead and describe your character as they randomly flash into existence.
So before you guys, literally pops in a blue, or a half elf, dressed in a blue trench coat with a giant staff, with a crossbow strapped on his back, and a dark gray bandana on his head. And he just looks around like, what?
Hello.
Hi?
Do people not use doors here?
What just happened?
Your guess is as good as
Uh,
mine.
I don't know. Are you on the expedition?
No, what?
The expedition. We're going on an expedition. Hi, and he just holds out his little hand.
Zeno, yes, hi.
Hi.
Would you guys happen to know how far away this is from Greybow Academy?
You're in Baldur's Gate, friend.
That can't be right.
I mean, last time I checked a map, that's where we were.
Yeah, I agree. At least I hope we're in Baldur's Gate. Pretty sure.
I mean, the gate's a pretty big sign.
Okay, I'm sorry. The last thing I remember was in a campaign. I was in an adventure with my friends. We go ahead and are fighting these what look to be undead creatures. I cast a chaos bolt, and all of a sudden I'm here.
Spooky.
Yeah, I don't understand how you got here either, friend.
Could I roll Arcana to see if I can figure out exactly what's happening here?
Sure. Roll ahead and Arcana check for me.
That'd be a 15.
15. Let's see. You have a suspicion that obviously it was some sort of, I guess, unbridled magic that may have been the cause of that. You could think that, maybe it was like some sort of teleportation. You've heard of some possible wild magics that may have adverse effects, but you can't say for sure with that check.
All right. Well, it sounds like some sort of wild magic happened and teleported you here. I don't know where exactly it came from, but it's really the only thing that explains anything.
Oh, no. Sorry. Oh, god damn it. You see, this needs a little bit of explanation. My girlfriend a couple days ago used me as a guinea pig for the spell she found in this old book. Like, we didn't think anything happened at first, but I guess she might have accidentally cursed me then.
That's a hell of a thing to happen.
That doesn't sound like a healthy relationship.
It doesn't
Oh.
sound very healthy.
I'm not an expert, but I agree.
By all means, like, it was a complete accident. We were actually very happy with each other.
I'll take your word for it.
I can't really judge, never having met her, so sure.
No, just, oh god. The fact that I'm in Baldur's Gate. If I remember correctly, that's 2,000 miles away.
That's a hell of a trip.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, don't worry, friend. You can join us now. You're part of the expedition. Congratulations.
Thank you. I guess there could be worse things. I guess if I stick with you, I could probably at least find my way back over there.
That's the spirit. I'm sure we'll figure something out at some point.
All right. At this point, the doors open up in this foyer, and a rather simple-looking servant kind of makes their way in, and they kind of motion for you to follow them.
Toddles after him.
All right. And as you make your way out, you've been invited to the home of Sindra Sylvain, a retired adventurer and merchant. As you're led up to a grand staircase to the 3rd floor, the servant then ushers you into a wooden panel room with a fireplace, comfortable chairs, and a heavy table bearing goblets and bottles of wine. The darkly paneled walls are hung with maps and sea charts. Racks, shelves, and cabinets hold hundreds more rolled up maps and charts. A person seated in an overstuffed chair near the fire. You can't discern a gender because only the person's head emerges from under a heavy blanket draped over the chair, and an embroidered hood and silver mask conceal the wearer's face. Even the person's dry, raspy voice provides no clue. Help yourselves to wine, and seat yourselves, friends. I hope I may call you that.
Sure, I like friends.
I think I could use a drink, yes.
It's so good that I've summoned for... Wait a minute. The person just kind of tilts her head a little bit and motions over to you. My apologies here, as I'm still trying to get names right. It's been for so long. Characters. Sorry. Zeno. As... Oh, have you come with your friends to help with my offer as well?
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Ah, excellent. Well, please, enjoy yourselves with my wine and my gifts, and I suppose I should get you up to speed as far as everything that's happened. Well, once upon a time, I was an adventurer, years ago. I died once on one of my adventures, and I was raised from the dead. I have since closed the door on that stage of my life. The death curse you've heard about has struck me. I don't know how much longer I'll last before I'll perish. Clerics have no help to offer. They're stymied by what is happening. And they kind of just pause a little bit and just let out a heavy drawn sigh. My contacts in the Harpers have learned that the cause of the death curse is a necromantic artifact called the Soulmonger. According to their sources, the Soulmonger is somewhere in Chult. Chult is a peninsula rigged with mountains and choked with rainforests. Enormous reptiles, savage goblins, and an army of undead prowl its jungles and ruins. Mapping the place has always been nigh impossible, and nothing is known about the region's current geography beyond a few miles from the coast. Working from dozens of sea charts, logbooks, and explorers' journals, I assembled everything known about the current state of Chult into one map. I'll provide it to you if you undertake my mission. When you're ready to depart, I will teleport us all to Port Nyanzaru, the only major settlement in Chult. I've been there several times before, so there's little chance of mishap. Once there, I'll stay with a friend named Wakanga Otamu. He's one of the 7 merchant princes who rule the city. So, what say you?
I say yes. Shanty told me to.
Yeah,
Dan?
Enoch kind of like fiddles with the wine glass because he was debating whether or not to take a drink since he's still technically not of age. And then he's just like, yeah, I'm looking for something in Chult, don't know what, so this seems like the best way to get there, as he kind of palms the 1 silver he has to his name.
And looks at everyone else and, well, if everyone else is already invested, I guess I could join.
Of course you wouldn't go unrewarded as well. I have to have procured quite a few magic items in my time. That's basically what I have devoted the second half of my life to. If you are able to complete this mission, I will be able to grant each of you a magic item of your choosing that is worthy of the level of your prowess.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Let's see. I just gotta remember who was typing in. Enoch, Wick, Dan. Zeno, did you happen to say anything?
Yes, he's like, yes, I'll go ahead and it's like that would be appreciated and all that. I was on push talk. I don't know why.
Okay.
All right. As she begins to shyly pick herself up from the couch and removing the blankets, she'll kind of nod over to the servant. Of course, there are other means that I could help you out as well. And again, nodding to the servant, they step forward and walks up to each of you and hands you a coin purse.
Oh, wow. How much is in there?
Do you look inside?
Yes.
Inside, each coin purse is 50 gold pieces.
Well, that's more
Sweet.
That's more money than Enoch has seen in his entire life, so he's immediately awestruck. Oh.
Dan's gonna put his pouch right on his side immediately.
Wick just beams. I could buy so many seeds with this.
Yeah.
Like, Zeno says under his breath, "This could get me a boat right over there."
Dan will perk up really quick. There is one thing I'm curious about before we continue onward. Does the name Peggy Deadbells mean anything to you?
I can't say I've heard of that name before.
Could you possibly look into information about that name for me?
Well, I have heard of one of the temples to Sune tends to deal with matters of divination. Perhaps you may consult them on any guidance, and perhaps they may have the answers you seek.
And starts to sweat a little. Right, I'll see about looking into them.
Well, shall we be off then?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Excellent. As she gets herself up, she picks up a staff which she currently had resting at the side of her bed, and she walks up towards all of you. She begins to wave her staff and chants of arcane syllables, and a glow of white runes erupts on the floor underneath all of you, and in a brilliant white flash of light, you flicker, and suddenly you appear in the tropical city under the blazing sun. The familiar sounds of a harbor, creaking ropes, slapping waves, heavy barrels rolling across cobblestones, mingled with voices shouting and cursing in an unfamiliar language, filled with clicks, inhalations, and sing-songy words that make it sound almost musical. The aroma of unfamiliar spices and tropical fruit mixes with the wharfside smells of fish, tar, and canvas. Beyond all that, Port Nyanzaru is an explosion of color. Buildings are painted in bright shades of blue, green, orange, and salmon pink, or their walls are adorned with murals portraying giant reptiles and mythical heroes. Every building sports baskets and clay urns of colorful flowers or is draped in leafy, flowery vines. Minstrels in bright clothing adorned with feathers and shells perform on street corners. Multicolored pennants and sun awnings flutter atop the city walls. A crowd of children dressed in feathered hats and capes races past you, squealing in delight and terror as a street performer costumed as a big-toothed lizard stops and roars behind them. The whole city seems to be bustling, sweating, laughing, swearing, and singing. And one of the first things that you all tend to notice, like I said, it is very hot. Definitely a lot warmer than compared to when you left Baldur's Gate. Imagine, good example is maybe like Texas in like August, considering with how hot it is, or maybe Orlando at its peak.
Dang.
Yeah, it's just throw me under the bus. I don't know exactly what that feels like having just lived through it.
I'm like Enoch before even like registering that he is just like falling on the ground, just like from the teleporting. He was not ready for that.
Dan was pretty prepared for teleporting, versed in magic. What he's not prepared for is all of the people that are currently around him doing all sorts of things. And he's just sort of looking left and right, back and forth at all these people, and he's just saying, "Oh God, there's so many of them. Oh jeez."
Wick's
And
just like literally pivoting in a circle, just like toddling around. Ooh.
And as you just kind of gaze around the Wick, another group of children just kind of goes to race past you, and another group of 2 or 3 women who you assume are probably their mothers are currently sporting baskets on top of their heads as they're currently trying to chase them down.
Wick just runs after the children.
Hey!
Okay, you're gonna go after the kids. Is anyone gonna be doing anything else?
I'll probably be like, "What? Wait up!" Just like chasing after, trying to like have the sense that we need to stick together, but while not thinking about he's leaving the party as well.
Dan's gonna hold his hat, look over to Yuki, and say, "All right, come on. Looks like we're going over this way."
Oh,
Zeno's
Before
do the
you
same, like, not really knowing where to go or where he is. He's just like, okay, I guess this is happening now.
oh, before you get too far, as Syndra goes to yell out for you. If you need me, remember I'll be staying with Wakanga. If you need a place to stay for the night, you can try the Thundering Lizard. For if you want something a little more raucous. But if you want something that's a little more quieter, just double check here. Which part did they say? You can try Kaya's House of Repose if you want a good night's sleep.
Repose.
Let's see.
All right. Dan's gonna wave back. All right, thank you.
All right. All right, and let me just go ahead and bring you guys over just so you can get a better idea of Port Nyanzaru.
Ooh, waiting for it to load in. Okay, let me fix the screen there.
There we go.
Oh, wow.
That's a big man.
It's big. Dang.
Yep, you are currently... Oh, where would she have you spawn at? As I just kind of... get some more ambiance or what's going on here. You typically spawn right about here. And let's see. Oh yeah, you have the docks that are currently behind you, and it looks like there's a giant temple of some sort that's currently sitting right here. And as the children are kind of running past, they make their way over towards this house over here.
Let's see. So I'm not seeing your pings. Where are we?
Yeah, I didn't see. Okay, I saw that one.
Over in the harbor ward, right about here.
Okay. And where's the temple?
There's one temple right here.
Okay.
This temple, as you look at the imagery that's currently sitting by it, it's in the shape of a four-spoked cog. And if you want, I can allow you guys to make a religion check.
Sure.
Am I even... yeah, I could do that real quick.
Why not? Let's go.
Don't know why I double rolled. I'll just go with the first one, which is 6.
I got a 7. Woo.
11.
Oh!
21.
21.
21.
I'll say Wick and Zeno. You recognize that as the symbol of Gond, the goddess of creation, and typically is associated with smithing and fine art, as well as some people who tend to build constructs also worship Gond. Basically, anybody with a creative mind is welcome underneath Gond.
I also just want to say this before we get too far ahead. For my floating +1 from my subclass, I'm just putting in strength just for today. At least till we long rest.
Good.
Yeah, just wanted to have that because just gotta add a +1 to whatever I roll when there. But yeah, Enoch will just run up. Wick, I think we need to stay together.
Wick just kind of slowly comes to a stop and then turns around.
Oh, I guess.
I just think Wick's walking animation is that of like Kirby, where it's just like or Mr. Krabs, where it's like the feet are just going fast on the body.
Oh, I see him as like the Tommy Pickles waddle.
It's even better, honestly.
And I also like to imagine, those little soft footfall noises, like what Kirby does when he walks.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, well, Enoch will turn to like Dan and Zeno and be like, so, Where should we start looking? Because I'm not really the brains of the outfit. I'm kind of going off of senses right now.
Well, we should probably head to the one of the inns to get some information if I had to hazard a guess. I like the House of Repose for resting, but the Thundering Lizard's probably the best place to get information.
By all accounts, those sound like the better idea, yes.
All right.
All right. You, if given, you guys kind of look around. There are a few guards that are kind of posted. There is a gate that's kind of situated over here. If you were to go up, they would basically point you in the direction of, I believe it's the Market Ward. Just to double check. Sorry. Where the heck is the Thundering Lizard? Where's the Merchant's Ward? We'll have to double check the places where it says everything is at. I thought I would have done more reading on that, even though I just ran this not too long ago. Oh yeah. Cinder would have told you that both of the inns were over by the Red Bazaar.
All right. I think Dan would also like to ask about the temple, just so he knows where it is, and any other temples that are in town to avoid.
All right. You ask the guard, and he kind of looks to you, and in a thick accent, he'll also say, "Oh, you must mean the Temple of Sune. The best way to get there is either by boat, or," he kind of points back, "through the wall behind the Temple of Gond. You just find the walkway, and then you walk across the bridge. It's on the island in the bay."
Thank you very much, sir.
Yep, so he points in this direction over here.
Okay.
All right.
kind of looks around at the temples.
Excuse me, sir. Is Shanty here?
Yanti?
The Pumpkin King.
Would I know
The two guards just kind of look at each other, and they kind of look at you. Roll a perception check for me, Wick.
Oh, one whole perception check. Okie dokie. Let's see. Perception.
7.
Oh, nat 20 on the other
I
side.
know.
Rip.
Roll 20, strikes again.
Yeah, you hear them whisper something else. You're not able to quite catch it, but they kind of look at each other and they say, "Oh, my apologies. I do not know this Shanti."
Darn. Okay, thank you.
And he's gonna toddle off back to the group again.
Would I know anything about the
Alright.
Pumpkin King, given that I'm also from a rural background?
I'd say probably give a choice of history or religion.
I'll try history. Oh!
Wow.
I 24 23.
Damn.
Alright.
Well, this isn't. When it comes to the Pumpkin King, some people kind of hold a contention. Some people claim that it's Shantae, the goddess of the harvest. Some people claim it's Kalimvor, who you would know as the god of the dead. But there seems to be some dispute on that, whereas if one god or one goddess supposedly claims that title, you're not sure.
Huh. Well, since he's from a small farming village, he'll just assume that it's Shantae and be like, "Oh, okay, that tracks." just keep walking with the rest of the group, I guess.
Yep. And, Enoch, I'll give you a perception check as well as you're pondering about that. As the guards are also attempting to whisper something else.
Okay, give me a second. There it is. 12.
You don't really notice anything else.
Okay.
Alright. So you make your way towards the market ward, which is on here. Basically, they kind of point you around the bay. Down here towards the southern bay. And you kind of go and make your way around. Let's see. Yeah, there's lots of, there's some various buildings, as you make your way around, you kind of notice that at a couple of spots there are some, what look to be like smaller bat houses that are kind of scattered about. And as you make your way closer to here, like I said, there are lots of stalls, lots of vendors selling meat, fish. There are a couple that are selling, like collections of like bones and feathers, and you see there's like a couple of stalls that are, they have these giant tarp-like contraptions kind of set off to one side. And there's also a couple of vendors that are selling various drinks. It's a very rich mixture of aromas that are kind of seeping into your nostrils as you're making your way around towards the market ward. And you make your way down here, and after a while, you hear a little bit of a ruckus as you make your way around here, and you see a sign that has a giant lizard on the side of it. That looks like it's stopping. As it says the sign, the Thundering Lizard.
Oh. That makes sense.
Definitely
Really?
tracks.
Yeah, really easy to find, isn't it?
I hate it here already.
I like
Not
it.
one, not one for the city, are you?
No, I was raised in the forest, in a hut. I went to town like a couple times.
Oh, hey,
Town-
samesies.
It's not so bad once you get used to it. You think this place is big? You should see the city where the academy is.
It's bigger than here?
That's crazy.
Indeed.
Oh, jeez, I don't... Well, eventually maybe I'll see it if I can stomach this place. Well, let's get in and get that information.
Alright. So, you open the doors of the Thundering Lizard. Like I said, it's about lunchtime, so there's a good, full of people that are in here. You see there's like a lot of dock workers that are off, you know, having various fish and fruits, and there's a line of people that are kind of lined up along the bar with various frothy drinks, and there's lots of tables that are open as well, and it seems to be a rip-roaring good time in here.
Well, I'll probably look around and be like, I'm gonna find us a table. Wick, you wanna follow me?
Okay.
Alright, and we'll start
Yep.
looking for a table.
Yep, you look around, and off in one corner, kind of away from the bustling, there is an open table that would be big enough for all of you to sit.
Nice. I slide in and try to secure a spot, looking in, try and just, you know, keep an eye out while keeping a hand on my coin purse.
Alright. Alright, So you guys all get seated and all set up, and eventually a waiter will come out and see all of you. A young kid just kind of goes up to you and is like, greetings. Welcome to the Thundering Lizard. How may I help you?
Hi, I'm Wick. Can I have grape juice?
Grape juice?
Grape
Sure. Sure. What will the rest of you have?
I'll have a grape juice too.
What would you recommend?
Well, we have a special on fried fish, lightly buttered with lemon zest and peppers. It's simply divine. We also have a special with tej to drink.
I think I'll have those. That sounds excellent.
Indeed,
Ah.
that does sound lovely. Let's have that one as well.
Yeah, I'll have some of
Alright.
the fish.
All right, lemon pepper fish and tej for the two of you, and a grape juice for you, and a grape juice for you. Very well. If you need anything else, I shall be back shortly.
Okay.
So, we're supposed to, find whoever's doing the death thingamabob, right?
Yeah, it was a
Yep.
curse.
Yes.
But not one of the nice girlfriend curses like yours.
Indeed, and it's actually the same one that was actually, I guess I was finding one of the people that was affected.
Oh. Alright.
I
Well,
mean, what else would you think there is?
I don't know. No one ever taught me magic.
Fair enough.
I mean, if you listen to the goblin lady from outside of town, I'm cursed.
Why are you cursed?
I mean, he gestures to the head thing. Cursed metal.
Yes, I was going to ask about that. What happened?
I don't really know. We got attacked by bandits, and I went to the cave where me and old Joe used to get our metal for the forge, and I fell down a hole, and next thing I knew, I was like this, and the bandits were all dead.
Dan's gonna get uncomfortably close to Enoch to look at the metal bits,
Enoch will lean back
And-
just a little bit.
just staring at it. Could I roll something to see if I could even get a fragment of information about what this could be that cursed him?
I suppose maybe a history or arcana check.
I'll go with Arcana, that's better. But not when I roll a 9.
Yeah, you have no idea. It looks like, it looks like it's like a coated like tin or possibly iron. You're not sure. That's basically what you could gather from that.
Fascinating. Well, I can't glean anything out of it just by looking at it, unfortunately. That's really interesting. Zeno, so you were cursed with your, magic setup. Were you magical before, or just...
Oh, yes. Like, in fact, that's actually what I was going to school for, I've always been naturally gifted, but just make my studies a little bit more so, you know?
Okay. So, you're wizard by trade, normally?
More of a sorcerer.
Oh, interesting. He looks around at the, just bar in general, see if anyone's listening in or anything before he mentions anything.
Roll a perception check.
Alright. I'm garbage at perception. Let's see how that goes. 5.
5. Yeah, you don't notice anybody really looking at you.
Alright. He is gonna lower his voice, though, because he doesn't trust anybody in the general vicinity aside from his group here. I'm a witch myself, so I'm interested in the magic, the more modern magic, I suppose. My magic is much older than what you might be used to.
I'll definitely see some of that later on, I guess.
Indeed. Oh, and this, he picks up Yuki from the ground, puts her on his lap. This is Yuki, my familiar. Say hello, Yuki.
Puppy!
I would have loved it if one of my dogs barked right now.
Yeah.
That would have been
Yeah.
perfect. And then, like, someone had started barking outside, but, like, nope.
Yeah. Yuki just is very happy and definitely allows you to pet her. And Draco, you hear in your mind, oh yes, this was nice. I just love it when I get petted.
Yes, I know, you like it a lot, don't you? He just says that out loud to her, because it wouldn't be strange.
Alright, so, Wick, you're casting Detect Evil and Good.
I'm not. That was an accent.
Oh,
I was just
okay.
trying to read it.
Okay, I was like,
Ignore that.
very
You know-
well. You cast nothing.
Evil and
You
good
know-
could be anywhere at any moment. We have to be alert.
Zeno just smiles. Well, by my experience, a dog is the best judge of personality, so I think I can trust you.
Alright, well. Should we maybe ask around, find if anyone knows anything about curses or anything? Because, well, I'm a dry well when it comes to magic, so.
That sounds like a good plan. Or just
Yeah.
general rumors, because that could lead us in the right direction as well.
Okay. At this time, your waiter returns, and she brings out 2 grape juices, sets them both out, and then also sets out the 2 lemon pepper fishes, and these mugs that are about a pint in size, and as you kind of look at it, it's frothing, but it smells a lot of honey in it.
I think Dan's gonna first ritual cast detect poison and disease.
All right. It takes you a few minutes. If you're
I
just
mean-
gonna let it sit for a while, you
The-
detect no poison in it.
Okay. The food he isn't gonna check, but the drink he is, just to be safe. Because the food will eventually go cold if he leaves it alone while he does this.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll take a drink once he clears that it is in fact not poisoned.
Yep.
And he'll say, but while he's casting the ritual, Venenum et morbis revelare.
Gesundheit.
Oh, that was my, I was checking if it was poisoned or not. We're good.
Oh, cool. Drinks the grape juice.
Why does... Like, you're gonna hear Zeno. Why does that sound familiar? Like... Oh well. Takes a bite of the food.
All right. Yeah. The fish is, just the perfect amount of moisture in it. Not too wet, not too dry. It almost practically falls apart when you go to grab it with a fork to eat it, and just the lemon zest that they threw on top of that and the pepper they have on it is just the right amount of sweet and kick to it. Not like spicy, but just the tang of the lemon and the pepper just kind of gives it a little kick.
Yeah, burst of flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me,
And-
Raymond.
And Wick's gonna grab his cup and he's gonna disappear under the table for just a second. And oddly enough, there comes a small little glow for just a second. And then Wick reappears with an empty cup.
Ah, that was good.
This fish is divine.
Yeah, so they did a really good job on it.
Didn't
Dan is
even
gonna...
need like, just the right amount of hint of lemon, too. That's really nice.
Dan is gonna also side-eye at Wick, because he's incredibly curious about what happened under the table.
Feels his eyes on him, slowly looks up at him, blinks slowly, looks back away. I'm gonna start asking questions, and he's gonna run off just anywhere.
Okay.
That sounds okay.
I'll go after them.
Okay.
Yeah.
At this point, the server just kind of comes back and, how's the food? As he goes to look at their leave. They are paid for their meals, yes?
Yes, we'll wrangle them up. They're just going around and talking to people. They'll be back.
Roll a persuasion check.
Oh god. Let's see. Persuasion. Ah, good. I have a 0 in that. 3.
Dash.
Just make sure they do not leave. They need to pay their tab.
Of course. I'll make sure they do. How much is it for their stuff?
About 2 silver pieces each for the meals.
All right. Then we'll pay for his right now, just to get that out of the way. He only has gold, so I guess it'll give him a gold piece.
Thank you. I will be sure to get you your change.
Thank you.
Zeno does likewise.
All right.
Apologies,
get
all we had.
All right. I believe it was Wick and Dan. Were you two running off?
It was Enoch.
Oh, Enoch.
Yeah.
Where exactly are you two going to be running off to?
I'm just going to look for the rowdiest bunch. Plenty of people to answer my questions.
Okay. All right. As you're kind of looking around, you see a group of dock workers that are off in another corner, just kind of going at it. They're just gonna go off. That shipment that we just got it off the bay. That was a good haul of fish, eh? Yeah. It's just nice to kind of get a break every once in a while. And eventually, one of them just kind of stops and looks at you, Wick.
Hi, I'm Wick.
As one of them just kind of looks at you, is like, you see his face just kind of flare up a little bit. What? Is that a chewinga?
A chihuahua?
Hey, look, lads, that's a chewinga.
Not chihuahua. Does this look like a face of a puppy to you? No, we have a puppy over there. He's not a chihuahua either, but I don't think he is.
Lads, look at this. It's an actual chewinga. An actual spirit from the forest. Come here to grace us with their presence.
No. I'm a halfling. I'll have you know.
Roll a deception check.
Okay. Eh. Deception. 12.
Hey, oh, I'm sorry. That must be a part of your hat then. My sincerest apologies for assuming you're a chewinga. It's just that you don't really see them as often, you know?
Oh, it's
Let
okay.
alone the one
Now
that's
you know not to make assumptions about people.
Especially the one that is in metal. Don't you get hot in that?
No.
Just hope you don't go out into the jungle with that. That might make it unbearably hot for you.
I like the warmth. It helps me grow.
To kind of give you an awkward side glance, it's just like, whatever, if you don't sweat yourself off first.
Oh, it's okay. I don't have sweat glands. But anyway, about that jungle, we're actually looking for the death curse thingamabob, and it's supposed to be in the jungle. Do you know anything about that?
Oh, that old death curse?
Yeah, that.
I've heard about it, but I haven't really seen anybody that's been affected by it. Another one kind of pipes up. I'm not even sure if that blasted thing is real anyway. Look, I mean, I'm not dead. Of course you're not dead. You're not affected by that death curse, you dolt. Well, hey, don't look at me. And they just kind of start bickering each other a little bit, you know, arguing semantics about being alive and dead and with the death curse. And then one of them, an actual Chult with the group, is just kind of looks at you and looks at the lot of them. It's just like, friends, please. Perhaps we should be, you know, dealing more with the merriment. Obviously, this friend is asking for our help.
Yes, please.
Well, typically, most people tend to ask with manners in the Temple of Sune. As far as with divinations, business requests, the such. Perhaps they may have the answers you speak. Perhaps someone else in town, if you look around, they might be able to know something as well.
Oh, the other temple. Yeah, I think I recognize that. I think we passed it earlier when I was playing with the kids. Okay, thank you.
And Wixter's going to put like a tiny little vial of just what looks like purple liquid.
Here you go. For your help.
She's just gonna waddle away.
Just a little bit of grape juice.
Just a little bit of grape juice.
That's great. All right.
Take a drink.
So,
This isn't whiskey.
Wait!
this isn't wine.
Again, just wait!
All right.
I do think we
Enoch.
should follow them, don't we? Or don't you? Like he says to Dan.
Yeah, we should probably ask around too. I mean, I've already paid for mine. Yeah, let's go, I guess. I'm not a people person, is the thing. But I'll try.
Alright. At this point, Wick and Enoch, you managed to meet back up with Zeno and Dan.
Dan's gonna bring up before anything. You need to pay for your stuff.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Wick's gonna put another little vial of purple liquid on the table.
I think he wants, money for services rendered.
That gold they
Oh.
gave us.
Just going
Some
to
of
put the
it.
he's gonna put his entire coin purse on the table.
Dan's gonna massage his eyes.
No. Not
just need to
that
put-
much. Not that much.
Oh,
Just one gold coin will do.
He takes
They'll give you
one-
change.
takes one gold coin out of the coin purse on the table.
Say,
Alright. At this point, the waiter comes back with a change and divvies it out, and thank you. I need to grab some change for that as well. That's
well,
he about faces.
yeah.
Before he goes, yeah, I'm sorry, we didn't get any silver. Just this. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Oh, it's no problem at all. I mean, it's not that we actually have enough silver as it is. Sometimes it's just kind of hard to get rid of it, so sometimes it's good to get higher coin.
All right then.
All right.
Problems I wish I had.
Don't we all?
All right. So he comes back and gives you back your change. He just kind of looks around and says, "Well, I don't suppose you don't look like you're from around here. Do you happen to need a place to stay?"
Maybe.
Use a room?
Well, if you head towards the front counter, my father can help you check you in with a room if you so desire.
How much per night? You don't mind asking?
Oh, just a second here. Let's borrow this. 5 silver for a night.
That's
Okay.
not that bad.
No, not at all.
No wonder you guys are having so much silver.
Well, you're not wrong there, friend. Alright, so I assume all of you want to at least get checked in with the room.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Dan wanted to see the other inn because this place is loud, but I mean, we are right here right now, so.
I mean, I'll leave that up to you if you want to go check it out, Dan.
He'll bring it up to everyone. So, before we book a room here, do we want to check the other inn as well? Because, I mean, they might have a better deal, it might be cheaper, certainly quieter from what we heard.
We can. We gotta go to the Temple of Suni.
Yeah, we have to do that too. I mean, if you want to just get our room here, that's fine. I just wanted to, weigh our options,
What? That's okay. I can sleep anywhere. All I need is a good pile of dirt, and that'll be great.
I'll at least roll an insight to try to see if I'm picking up what Dan's putting down. But my boy's dense.
I was actually about to ask the same thing.
Yeah.
All right. Are you actively trying to hide this, Dan?
Not even a little bit.
All right. Yeah. Roll insights.
Yeah, that's a 6.
All right. Well, Enoch would be like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, this place is pretty okay, but we can check out the other place at least maybe on the way to the temple.
That sounds great.
All right.
Great.
All right. As you make your way out onto the street again, it's actually you actually did kind of, as you make your way towards the bazaar, back this way. Actually, at this building right here, it's kind of funny you didn't see the sign beforehand, but you do see the sign for, names. Where is it? Keep forgetting this. I should have this prepared. Beans. There it is. Kaya's House of Respite, or Repose. You see a pair of heads over a bed on the sign.
This
It
looks
does-
like a better place.
All right. Let's head on in.
All right, you head on in. It's kind of a simpler room, or it definitely is a lot quieter, and this is definitely more of an inn as opposed to a tavern. So it's kind of a nice, simple, clean situational setup. There's a nice little halfling woman who's currently minding the counter. Welcome to Kaya's House of Repose. How may I help you?
Yes, hello. How much would a room cost us?
Well, 8 silver a night is typically what we charge here.
It was 5 at the Thundering Lizard, right?
Yeah.
5 silver?
Yes.
So it is more expensive here, but it also is quiet.
I mean, this place looks pretty cozy.
I'm sure it's worth the money. How do we want to split the rooms apart with us? Like, share rooms, or who's bunking with who?
I mean, I don't really sleep anymore, so I'm fine with whatever.
As am I. I'm a literal stranger here.
That's a good point. How about you bunk with me, Enoch? I'd like to maybe talk more about your situation. I mean, you've told us, I'm sure, most of the story anyway, but I am profoundly curious about the magical means of your affliction.
Okay. Long as you don't cast no magic before telling me, okay?
I promise not to cast at you first.
Alright, that sounds good. So I guess that splits us down the middle.
All right. So Dan and Enoch are going to be going in one room, and Zeno and Wick are going to be in the other room.
Sure.
All right.
Well, before that, should we bring in Chapo?
Yes. Sure. Our late edition is finally here. Please welcome our fifth and final member for the party, Chocolate Zombie.
I think Chocolate needs to mute in roll 20 because I'm hearing a lot of echo. Oh, there we go. That's much better.
There we go. Yes. And I'll say as you are grabbing, you get kind of situated to get set up in the room. I'll figure out a good way to bring your character here in a sec. Assuming you go to once you get checked in, do you want to just head straight away to the Temple of Sune, or what do you guys want to do? Because this will also play into how I bring in our fifth character.
I mean, unless anyone wants to do shopping or anything at, like, one of the bazaars, I think it'd make the most sense to just head straight to the temple.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't need anything.
what I would say.
Same. My guy's basically carrying all the stuff on his back, so he's fine with just getting a room and then heading straight to the temple.
Okay. So, at this point, let's go ahead and cut to, Chocolate Zombie. Please go ahead and describe your character at this point as, you are currently out in the middle of the street in Chult, just kind of wandering around the various stalls of the Red Bazaar. Yeah, go ahead and describe your character for us.
Elise is a wood elf. Just kind of very basic athletic build. She's wearing leather armor, has a longbow strapped to her back, and is kind of just wandering around town checking out the sights and scenes. More specifically, she's just kind of like looking for number one, just looking for a place to rest for the is it nighttime or morning?
It's in the afternoon. So I would say that you've been in Chult for a few days. You currently have a room in Kaya's House of Repose. So as you're kind of walking around, just kind of minding your own business, you feel a bump into your back, and I am very sorry. As you go to turn around, you see a bold Chultan man just kind of basically bowing down at your feet.
She's raising an eyebrow at this. This is something that's kind of new to her, and she says, it's no big deal. I should have been paying attention.
Oh, please, I need your help. Please, please hear me. And I'll say at this point, everybody else that is currently in Kaya's House of Repose is making their way out as they basically witness this scene as well.
That's weird.
Elise is just kind of looking around, like a little bit stunned, but she'll kind of look down at the man and says, "What do you need my help with?"
I am very sorry, but I need somebody to accompany me. This is a very grave matter, and I am very frightened. I have, as he just kind of reaches into his pocket, he pulls out this weird-looking coin that you see. It has a symbol of a triangle on it that is behind an emblem of some sort of lizard head. I have been given this coin, and I have been summoned to Golden Throne. Although I'm pretty sure I know why. I would feel very much safe if you were to come with me and escort me, please.
Would I know what that is?
Give me a history check?
$13?
We got Echo again.
I'm not hearing any echo.
Sorry.
It's because we have it all disabled on our end, so we probably don't pick it up.
Yeah.
But, can't say you've seen that kind of an emblem before. It is a token that I have committed a grave sin, and I must answer for my crimes.
She'll just kind of sigh and be like, very well, if you need to be protected, I suppose I can spare the time. It's not like I'm doing anything.
Oh, thank you. I don't have much to offer, but I can see if there's anything I can give for you. And everyone else at this point, you see that the man just kind of picks himself up, and this man is dressed in very bright colored clothing, and he has one of those what do you call, like those flat circular cloth hats that he wears on his head.
A fez?
Fez?
Not a fez, but it's basically I don't know, not a turban. It's like
Beret?
not even a beret. It's like in some of those countries where it's like, you know, the rim just kind of sticks out slightly higher than the cloth, but it's basically all made of the same material, and it's like a bunch of different colors. I forget the name of it, but
I have no idea.
Yeah, I also have no idea.
it kind of looks like a pie tin, I guess, but where it's kind of like, you know, the top of the hat is like concave in, and the brim maybe sticks out like an inch above the flat part of the hat. I wish I knew what that was called, but that's about the best.
Sombrero.
Okay, yeah, now he's wearing a sombrero. I'm sorry.
There we go.
Sorry, Chad. I'm just trying to. I
It's
need to know
fine.
what this hat is.
It's clearly a sombrero. It's fine. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
no, I mean,
It's the guacamole hat from freaking Despicable Me.
Damn it, you stole my joke.
Ugh.
There's a gentleman wearing
Oh,
food on his head.
it's called a kufi, I guess.
Oh, Koofy.
Koofy.
Oh, now I need to look it up.
Yeah, I also want to see what a Koofy looks like.
I've heard of it before. It's one of those things where name does not come out. But I'm still just going to always picture him in a sombrero now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now I know. Now that I'm seeing it.
Yeah, it's like the hat.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very African hat.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, as you go to Elise, and this man picks himself up, he introduces himself as, what's his name? Omala. My name is Omala.
Lisa will reach out her hand as sort of like a gesture of, you know, good faith. Like, Elise, Brentwood, Huntress.
Oh, a very capable hunter. I definitely feel a lot safer in your capable hands. As he just kind of goes to turn around and start to walk. Let's see. Wait, give me a dex save.
Oh no.
as you try to close it up.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Well, let's see. And this is a deck save, huh?
Here we go, chat.
Let's see. Where are the deck saves? I forget. Forget on this.
It's,
There it is.
the-
Okay.
yeah.
12. As this man is clearly not watching where he's going, you just managed to duck out of his way. Like, ah!
Yeah.
I'm very sorry. I am very sorry. I did not mean to bother you. He just kind of looks
That's okay.
around a little
It's
bit.
a lot.
You might need to watch where you're going a little more, because, I mean, I saw you bump into her, now you almost hit my friends. I mean, I'm
Right.
not gonna...
So, apparently I have been summoned to answer for my crimes, and I need you all to ensure my safety, as it were.
Okay, what would we get out of this? I mean, I don't want to be that guy, I guess, but we kind of had something we were on our way to do?
Please, I'm begging you, I don't have much money on me, but wait, I can, hold on a sec, he's just gotta ponder about it. I don't know if I can offer you anything, but please, I'm very desperate.
I got an idea. Do you have a house?
Well, yes, I do have a home here.
I forget. Did we already pay for the hotel?
I think we did, yeah.
Dang it.
I mean, we would have bought a room for nothing if we got his house.
Also, give us 1 second, guys. I think my internet might have spaced out, so I gotta check on the stream real quick.
It looks like it's back.
Okay.
I went to look right now. It looks like there's an ad playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It came back on for me, so apologies for that, chat.
Okay. I'm gonna.
All right.
Well, that'll be fun to try to upload for YouTube later.
Yeah. Mash 'em,
Yeah.
bash 'em. As Omala just kind of ponders a little bit, said, yes, are you looking for a place to stay?
Oh, I already paid for a room.
Yeah. How about this? Do you have any information at all about the death curse? I'm looking for an individual named Peggy Deadbells, if you have any information on her that I could use.
I am sorry, I've never heard the name of Peggy before, but, well, perhaps if you were to come with me, you may be able to ascertain Princess yourself.
Alright, well, that's something. What do the rest of you think? Should we help or...
Friendship.
I mean, we really don't have much going for us around here, and we gotta... I mean, having someone to help us out if we get lost is probably a good idea.
That's
I have to
fair.
agree with that.
Alright, I guess you've enlisted yourself some bodyguards.
Child, thank you. Thankfully, the Golden Hall is not that far off. I can show you to where we need to go. As thankfully, he points towards this area over here, which has a very large golden roof to it, which you can basically see from here. As you... Actually, wait, is that the right one? No, that's not it. Gold. Where the heck is Golden Throne?
see a few places that could theoretically be gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
It's-
this place right here.
Oh, he's actually on the way to the Temple of Sune. We can actually get there from. It's over towards the old city. It's actually right on the way.
Oh, hey, we could see Sunny too. Hooray!
Well, perfect. Then I have
Also-
no objections.
Also, Wick's gonna waddle up to the elf.
Hi, I'm Wick.
Pretty sure she means you, zombie.
Oh, yeah, she'll, kind of bow respectfully. Elise, Burnwood.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to the expedition.
Yes, I came here hearing that there was a lot of big game around here. It seems to be a playground for hunters like myself.
I like games. We should play
She-
sometime,
Yes, perhaps.
but not right now. We got responsibilities to do.
All right.
Not wrong.
Work first.
Okay, so you are led through past the bazaar. As you make your way up, you see you pass this building once before, but that is what is that? It's basically like a giant tent that's kind of pitched up there at 3 points, and there's more bustling market that's currently engaging right there as well. Definitely a lot louder and a lot busier packed than even at the Grand Bazaar or the Red Bazaar that you guys were at before. As you,
I was gonna say, like, immediately as soon as like we see that it's more packed and everything, I was like gonna reach down. Wick, hold my hand.
Oh, okay.
He'll hold it.
aw, don't want to get lost.
Don't worry. I'll make sure you don't get lost.
Perfect.
Mm.
I have to say, for the record, the more and more I hear of Wick, the more and more I want to save this precious bean.
Something
not
bad
wrong.
is going to happen at some point, and we're all going to be devastated.
All I'm saying is, like, ever since I knew like what my background was gonna be and saw the art for Wick, my thought about like our characters staying side by side is just Bumpkin and Pumpkin.
Yes,
Love it.
I love that. That is so good.
It's our duo. But yeah, let's get back in.
All right. As you're led through back through the Merchant's Ward, you circle your way around. You see this building over here that has a giant golden dome on it. As there's a contingent of guards that are currently standing outside. They kind of part ways as you get ushered in. You're led into this giant courtyard that is just underneath this dome. And you see off in one side there's kind of a raised platform and dais that's also contains like a raised long desk. And the guards talk to Omala, and he gives them his information. I have been summoned by Coyote. Oh, yes, we'll be sure to summon her. Please, wait here. And it kind of takes a while. What do you guys want to do as you're waiting? As I get this set up here.
Is there stuff around?
There are benches. Yeah, there's a row of benches that are like in front of this, I guess, pulpit. I guess you could call it. Let's see.
I was gonna just climb on him and then just like hop from bench to bench.
Do we know how much time it's going to take, or is it just sort of ambiguous? At some point, she'll be around.
It takes a little bit. Actually takes about an hour.
Oh, wow.
And let's see.
Lord, if it's going to take that long, what door did he disappear through?
That's a very, very good question, then.
Well, there are a couple of other guards that are kind of situated around. As you make your way up towards one of the doors, the guards just kind of look down at you and say, "What are you doing, small child?"
I am Wick.
Do you speak
Excuse
for
me.
this man?
He's gonna try to go for the door.
They did gently just kind of lower their heads. It's like, no.
Oh, but
If
we're
you are
waiting
to be
for
waiting for the
somebody.
trade princess, you must wait here.
I'm bored. It's been an hour. I'm bored.
Wait a second. Trade princess?
He said princess, as in plural prince.
Oh. That is also disconcerting.
Yep.
Like, I'll turn back to it was, something. I forgot his name already. Crap. The guy we're with, unless he left.
I mean, he's
Oh,
still waiting for his
omala.
thing.
Ah, yeah, you didn't
Omala.
mention prince, like, royalty. Are we okay?
Omala just kind of looks at you and says, "Oh, you're not from here. The trade princes are basically the de facto leaders of Port Nyanzaru and as a whole. They tend to the commerce of Port Nyanzaru. There are 7 princes. Each of them is in charge of various goods and services.
It'll jump up from the bench he was probably sitting on at this point. We're going to meet the leaders of this place, and we did. What? Oh,
Breathe,
God.
man, breathe. Breathe.
Okay, it's just this suddenly sprung up on us, and oh God. Okay. All right, it's fine. It's fine. We'll
Alright.
just. It's fine.
Alright, after a little while longer, eventually some more guards, file their way out, and, you see this woman, among the people that shows up. Should be in your journals right now.
Yeah, it popped right up for
Ooh.
me.
Yep,
Yep.
same.
You see a Chultan woman with large, frazzled black hair, dressed in fine silks, with a tiara made of gold and orbs that adorn her head. And she looks to all of you and then sits down at the pulpit. Omala! Yes, Coyote. And he flings himself forward and, kind of bows down. Am I to understand your currently transgressions in which you are confessing to? Yes, in my moment of desperate need, I procured a dancing monkey fruits and circumvented the services that you kindly provided such goods. And I am very sorry that I offer myself to your mercy, as he just goes to drop his head. And what of these other people who are currently with you? As she looks around out to all of you.
Nervous waves.
And shrinks in his seat.
Hi, I'm Wick. We're an expedition.
We're bodyguards, I guess, for him. The accused.
He asked us to accompany him to see you, and
Well, Omala, how do you propose we deal with any you rectifying this transgression towards me and my merchants. I am not sure. I do not have much that I can offer you. She looks out to all of you. Well, if you're not capable of providing some sort of exchange, perhaps I may be able to ask a favor of your guards, as it were. As Coyote just looks out to all of you. Where is it? If you accomplish one task for me, I am willing to forgive Omala's lapse of judgment. In exchange but for one thing. The life of one man.
What did this man do?
It doesn't concern you what he did. And best not to speak of this matter to anyone else. I want you to kill a man for me named Shago. He is currently in Fort Beluarian.
We're in like a
He
big
works-
open procession, right?
As far as in this courtyard, it's basically just you, the guards, and her.
Oh, okay. For a second there, I was just like, "Are you asking us to murder someone in broad daylight?"
Yeah, like what? Alright, that makes more sense. I don't know if I feel comfortable killing a man that I don't know what he's done. I mean, I can kill a man who I think deserves it, but some random guy? I don't know.
I'm inclined to agree, actually.
Is he a bad man?
I said no questions asked. Either you kill Shago for me, or, and he looks out to you, or Mala will be subject to the executioner's run.
Ah. I see.
Is that like a marathon?
Omala begins steadily concerned at that as at the mention of the executioner's run. The executioner's run is a trial of sorts where anybody who has been accused of a crime has a chance to be excused for their action, assuming they can escape a gauntlet of either warriors or animals that may seek to kill them. If they make their way through the executioner's run and climb out, then they have, in essence, won their innocence. But if not, they pay with their lives.
Cursory glance, Omala does not look like he could survive something like that, does he?
Roll insight check.
Let's see, insight. 14.
No, he doesn't look particularly strong or fast. Looks just like a normal man.
Alright.
You have 10 days to carry this out. And again, speak of this to no one.
You know what?
Yeah.
I probably should have brought this up sooner, but I'm curious about this dancing monkey fruit thing that they keep going on about.
Oh, you can ask that in just a sec here. So, do we have a deal?
Well, what do you say, everyone?
I mean, there's a lot to take in, but I kind of don't want. I feel like we're damned either way because if we don't, he dies, and if not, we might kill some other guy we never met. There's a lot of high concept stuff for me.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
This is a little, much, yes.
You have 10 days to carry out your act, and if I do not hear back of his death, you shall make the executioner's run, Omala. In the meantime, you are to stay in Port Nyanzaru where I can keep an eye on you. Yes, of course.
Do we
Very
have
well.
any? Oh, sorry,
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say. So she said he was at the fort, right? Like, can we get directions from here? How far is he?
We're kind
Port
of new.
Beluarian is about 4 days journey to the northeast into the jungle.
Okay, and we have 10 days. All right, good to know.
All right. I guess we're doing this now.
Very well. You are dismissed. As Coyote Kyle looks at you, gives a cordial bow, and then exits the scene.
She seems awfully mean.
Probably best we don't. Alright, put that wrath for ourselves, wouldn't you say?
This is quite the mess we've all stumbled into.
And at this point, as she leaves, a couple of other guards are making their way to Omala, and they begin to take him into custody.
I guess we're gonna go handle this for you, buddy. Try to stay tight.
I'll do my best. Please help me, as he begins to get dragged off into the side.
Oh, I wish you wouldn't have done that.
Wow, you know, it just seems like we just sort of got dragged into a whirlwind of mess, and now here we are. We've got to go kill someone that we barely even know. Anyway, who wants to go to the temple now?
Yeah, we might want to pray.
Yay!
That's a very good idea.
All right. All right, so you make your way back out through the courtyard, and you cross the bridge over the market into the merchant's ward. You make your way to the bridge as you walk across the bay. Make your way to the Temple of Sune.
Before we enter, could I do a quick check? How does Sune feel about witches?
I guess roll a religion check.
9. Wonderful.
You don't know.
Great. Dan is going to be a bundle of nerves as they walk into the temple, unsure of how they feel about him.
As you guys begin to walk in the temple, Elise will hesitate and say, I've never been one much for gods. I'll wait out here for you to finish your business.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
As you make your way into the Temple of Sune. Or is it Sune? I'm sorry. Take that back. It was the Temple of...
Oh, you did
Is
say
that
Sune. Or Sune, yeah.
Well, screw it. We're just changing that. This is going to be the Temple of Stavros now. All right.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Apologies on that. But yeah, as you're looking at coming up on this temple, the dome of this makes it look like it's a giant open eye that's just looking up into the sky.
Ooh.
Ominous.
Yeah.
And as you make your way into the Temple of Stavros, you see there are, there's a wide open chapel. There's a couple of doors with various different off rooms. And at the end, kind of towards the entryway, you see a very older looking man currently talking to 3 men in hoods. As you go to make your way up, you kind of hear some feverish feverish whispering coming from them. Roll perception checks for me as you make your way up.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
7.
Let's see. Perception.
Natural 1.
19.
Too fucking nervous right now.
Perception and
All right.
those 12 on both sides too. Wow.
We'll say Zeno and Wick. You hear the older Chultan man just kind of whisper off, "No, I do not want that blessed ruby. I want you to get out of my sight now and never come back." And as he kind of sees you all walking up, he just kind of goes to straighten himself. As the 3-year-old gentlemen turn around and they just, begin to feverishly walk past you. And yeah, you don't really hear anything come past and from them walking past. And the older gentleman just kind of goes and walks up towards you. He's wearing white robes, very light, with also stripes and shades of blue. He wears a pendant on his around his neck that's in the shape of it's like a round circle that has like 10 eyes on it. Of various sizes. Welcome to the Temple of Savras. How may Great Father Zetembe be able to help you?
Hi.
We're looking for information on the death curse.
Oh. The death curse. I cannot believe that such a thing is happening and related to Chult. It saddens my heart. Why do you wish to know about the death curse?
We got hired by a lady who's affected by it, I think.
Yeah, that's
We're
what she said.
We're trying to stop it?
Well, I will see what I can do to consult the guides. If you're able to make a donation for the temple to help cover for the cost of the ritual, I will consult them and see what they offer you, and I will be able to give you a response tomorrow.
I have something I would also personally like you to look into aside from the death curse. I guess I'll pay for that for myself. I'm looking for a Peggy Dead Bells. Could you possibly do a ritual to help me find her as well?
That may be a possibility, which I can help you.
How much for both rituals?
Well, 25 gold pieces each, so for a total of 50 would be how much we would ask for a donation.
Like that's
Dan gives all 50 gold to them. Doesn't give it a second thought.
Very well, thank you. Do you have anything else that I may be able to assist you with?
Who's the guy that we're supposed to kill?
Oh, right. What was his name? Shoddy, I think?
we're not supposed to talk about that. Like that was the first rule. Like the
Ah,
only
yeah.
rule.
right.
Never mind. Forget
Yeah.
that we said anything. You didn't hear anything.
Ignore us,
We're not
Padre.
killing anybody.
Roll a persuasion check. And if one person wants to do it with advantage, I'll let you do it.
21.
There we go.
21 from Rick.
I mean, Wick is adorable.
I'm
How
gonna
can you
roll.
turn them down?
How can you adore this little pumpkin bean?
I also got a 21.
Well, there we go.
21.
Of course, I heard nothing of it. But yes, I shall consult the guides and I shall send word for you if you wish to stop by the temple first thing in the morning.
Well, we got a busy day tomorrow, so yeah, we'll stop by first thing tomorrow.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Thank you. And may Savros give you the insight to inform you of your best decisions. And he kind of raises his hand up towards you.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna need a lot of help with that.
Mm.
All right. So, what do you guys want to do now?
Hey, who's Peggy Deadballs?
She is responsible for the murder of my grandmother.
Oh.
And I want to make her pay. There's more to that story, but that's what I feel comfortable giving you right now.
Oh.
Wick slowly reaches up and just takes both of his hands.
I am sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It was some time ago, but it still hurts.
Yeah. People getting murders are usually pretty bad.
Well, she didn't murder her directly. She incited a mob, which... And Dan just sort of stares into the middle distance for a while, reflecting back on what happened, and he shakes his head. I can't think about that right now. Let's go back to...
Best not.
Enoch just quietly nods in Haunted One background. Yeah, I know that. Alright, so what time of day is it anyway?
It's mid to late afternoon at this point, I'll say.
Alright, well, we should probably go get Miss Elise and then let her know that we're gonna have to come back here tomorrow, and then I guess we're head out for that fort.
Oh. I would assume that Elise was with you this whole time, unless,
They said
she
they
was
were
at
waiting
He
outside.
waited outside, yeah.
Oh, wait, outside, okay. Alright. So, yeah, you reconvene with Elise, and you get her all filled in.
She's just been sitting on a bench this whole time, like she's pulled out a hand axe and has been like taking whetstone to it.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Well, I guess we're gonna be going into the jungle. Does anyone need anything? I don't know much about jungles. I assume they're just like warm forests.
Well, I spent all my money on the rituals, so I don't really have anything to buy. I think I've got 4 gold to my name, and that's about it.
Don't sneeze at 4 gold.
Yes, that can get you quite a lot here.
I'll be honest, I have a very loose concept of money. I know it buys things. I don't know how much many things are worth.
Well, if the translation is the same here as it is back in where I'm from, about 1 gold is 10 silver.
And blinks. All right.
Alright, well, what about you, Zeno? Do you need anything? Or also, I should just ask, are you likely to just randomly teleport away again, since that seems to be like a thing that's at least happened to you once?
If I'm being completely honest, I am not sure at all. I don't know what this magic will do. And try all my spells at least once, at least, or give it a shot, but I'm gonna be careful with that. Luckily I have this. He pulls out his crossbow from behind his back.
Alright.
I'm pretty handy with this thing. Thank the gods.
wait, there is something I could maybe think I might need. Could go to the bazaar, I guess, if we want to do that before hitting the hay, as it were.
Okay, but I think we should make a new rule considering how we've been going. We try to avoid talking to anyone we don't need to. Because I'm sorry, but we already got like 2 things on top of the thing that we were already meant to be here for. I feel like we're just going to keep dragged into things.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yes, I'm inclined to agree with that as well.
You just hear in the background, "Hi, I'm Wick."
Yeah, Wick, you've stumbled upon. There's just an old lady that's just kind of sitting at another bench that's kind of further down the way. It's like, oh, that's very nice of you.
He's feeding the pigeons.
Yeah, sure. She actually has a couple of parrots that she's actually kind of has. She's got one on her shoulder, and she's got another one that she's holding 2 fingers with right in front of her.
I'm just imagining this old woman. I have a quest for you all.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Wick! Exclamation point appears above her head.
Yes, exactly.
Just a drummel. Pretend.
All right.
All right. So, who wants to go to the bazaar or the market in order to requisition supplies?
Wick will
Dan's gonna
go
go.
just because that sounds exciting.
Yeah, I'll go.
All right. So, Elise and Wick.
Yeah, I'll go because, well, Enoch doesn't really have much else to do or a sense of what he's doing in general. He's just trying to, like, go with the flow, which is so far
Alright.
chaotic.
All right.
Dan's going because he's got something to buy.
Mm-hmm. And I assume Zeno's going to be hanging along as well.
Yes, because he realizes that he has none of the potions that he had from when he was adventuring with his other party. So it's like, that's right. Brody had. God, I need to go get some potions. I'm assuming I'm gonna need them.
I can make potions. It just takes a lot of, well, not a lot of time. It takes me less time than the normal person, but I could make them. I just need some supply.
Good to know.
Yes, very good to know.
All right. As everybody makes their way down to the bazaar, you get lots of barkers and, people kind of showing off various things. Like I said, you've got, various food merchants. You do have access to some people that'll sell some basic weapons, basic gear. Basically, you have access to everything that's for sale for general adventuring gear in the player's handbook, with some exceptions. You do see there's a couple of other different types of vendors as well. Wick, I want you to roll a perception check for me.
Boy.
Bushy.
15.
As you're walking around, you see there's one vendor that looks like he has like a lot of like small gourds that are just kind of attached to straps and just kind of hanging around.
He waddles up. Do they look good and healthy?
Roll a... Oh god, how would I rule this? Either a nature or a medicine check?
Let's see. I bet my medicine is better. 21.
21. These gourds are obviously hollowed out. You see there is a cork or a stopper that's on top of them. So obviously they've been hollowed out and used as containers. And as you're walking forward, you see this Chult woman just kind of goes, insect repellent. Oh, hello, little one. Are you interested in my wares?
Your pumpkins are a lie.
Well, that's
Wow.
a part of conversation.
That's holy shit.
These are not pumpkins, they are gourds and they are containers. Are you interested in some bug salve or insect repellent?
Insects are healthy for the environment.
Well, they would not be very happy or healthy for you when they are biting at you very fiercely in the jungle. Which is why I recommend selling these insects or this repellent and incense.
Can I make a check to determine how, like how good it would be at doing that? Like, if I just, like, see one of the random, like, bottles of repellent that she has and just, like, try to, like, sample spray it, just see if I can tell how effective it would be.
Let's see. I was just trying to see who was it that was talking there. My apologies. I guess, do you have proficiency with an herbalism kit?
I have proficiency in that.
I'll allow you a wisdom check with proficiency with herbalism kit if you want to figure out how potent this stuff is.
Okay. Let me find that on the sheet. Proficiency, herbalism, wisdom. 17.
17. As you're just kind of looking at the salve, she actually has like a little sample. She kind of obviously says, "Oh yes, very nice." And she actually kind of goes and grabs your arm and goes to start rubbing it on there. Yes, for all of your woes of keeping all the insects off you and making it very nice. And as you're looking at this and using your herbalism kit, it seems like this would do the job of, it's a very strong peppermint smell that you get coming off of this. Or spearmint. You definitely detect a spearmint that they use in this.
Interesting. I'll relay that information to the rest of the group. It seems viable. Smells of peppermint? No. Spearmint. Definitely a spearmint. So it's known to repel bugs, so this would definitely work for the intended purpose.
Well, I guess I could buy me a gourd of that. How much?
Well, one gourd is for 1 gold piece, and each gourd has enough for 20 doses.
That sounds good, because Enoch just gestures down to the fact that his poncho is just open chest. Yeah, I'll probably use that. Yeah, here's a gold.
Alright. Any of your friends need it as well.
Yes, please. That sounds actually really useful.
At least we'll toss up a gold for a container.
Very nice, thank you. And she gives you each a gourd of bug salve.
I'll take one as well.
Alright, you also
much
have a...
Boop.
Alright, she happily takes your gold and offers you a gourd of salve.
Wick's little eyes are narrowed at the gourds, but then he just kind of fiddles with his leaves and is like, oh, he holds out a gold piece.
Thank you, little one, as she goes and gives you your gourd of salve.
I have labeled this on my sheet as gourd of raid.
Gourd of raid.
Nice.
A gourd of off.
Gourd of bug repellent.
Alright.
That way
Dan-
we can't be sued.
That's fair. You know what? We have to keep watch on that. Dan is looking specifically for glass vials for potions.
Okay. Yeah, you do see there is a glass blower has a stand set up nearby, and yeah, they do have some vials for sale. Alright.
How much for the vials?
Let me just double check here, looking up prices. Empty vial. Let's see. Vial of 1 gold piece per vial.
Damn. Sure, I'll spend all 3 of my remaining gold on vials.
All right, she hands you 3 vials, complete with stoppers.
Excellent. I have no money anymore. Burned right through it.
I mean, you, in theory, have some silver.
No, I spent that on the room.
Oh, yeah.
I have nothing. I've wiped myself out completely.
Now
I mean,
now you know how Enoch felt starting this campaign.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like I said, Dan grew up in the woods, didn't really need much money. They went to town occasionally, him and his grandmother, but he never really bought anything before.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, point of order, Chocolate. Based on your work you've kind of set in here so far, your character would also have 50 gold pieces to spend.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Just figure
Okay.
it'd be fair for everyone. We'll just chuck that out to, doing odd jobs and hunting for trophies that you may or may not have brought in.
Yep.
Alright. As you're look around, let's see. Just gotta randomly roll. Enoch, I want you to roll a perception check for me.
Okay, perception. 8.
8. You kind of, as you're kind of looking around for other equipment, the cacophony is kind of a little hard to hear because, kind of hard to discern other calls and whatnot, just because of, everybody trying to get your attention for various things at once. Like I said, you hear a merchant calling out for selling out like bones and feathers. There's another that is selling out various fruits. You also see there's another vendor that looks like he has a monkey. He has like a cage set up and he has some monkeys with him. But these monkeys have wings.
Well, first of all, you're gonna have to remember, he doesn't know what a monkey is, man. This man has not been to a school.
Yeah, these very small-looking creatures that look humanoid shape, but they have tails and wings and lots of fur.
Huh.
What?
Didn't know Chult was in Oz.
Enoch's just staring at them, confused, like, what in tarnation?
Elise is also interested in this.
Yep. You walk over and you see this merchant that says, "Oh, welcome, friends. Are you interested in my flying monkeys?"
I mean, I've never seen a monkey before, so...
They look like you guys. He looks up at them. I mean us. They look like us. Really hairy usses.
I mean, they're not that far off from a goblin, I guess.
Can I roll a nature check to determine exactly what these are?
Sure.
Nine.
They're a monkey of some sort, but you can't say you've seen anything like this before. Or heard of anything
Alright.
like this. Let alone a monkey with wings. That's definitely weird.
Can I do the check as well, or no?
I was gonna ask if I could do the check because since since Zeno's in a college, he probably would have seen something about these things.
Sure, Zeno. I'll let you make a nature check. And, Draco, I'll let you do it as well.
Alright. 24.
That's an 8.
Yeah,
He was
you've
asleep
heard of-
that day.
Dan, yeah, you've heard of, monkeys as, in some climates, monkeys tend to fly around. Yeah, these are flying monkeys because obviously they have wings and they can fly.
Right. Interesting. No, I haven't ever seen flying monkeys. I mean, I haven't really left the forest much, but in some climates, they're, they're around.
Huh.
Well, it's your lucky day, my friend. For the low price of 100 gold pieces, I am able to give you a flying monkey.
I'm sorry, that's out of our price range. As he slowly just starts kind of like walking backwards.
Oh, such a shame.
Perhaps another time. I'm
Hey,
sure
Milla.
you're gonna be here.
Hey, Milla.
Yes?
Can I make a personal roll real quick? And I'll make it public.
Sure, Jocko.
At least it's gonna pull out one of her daggers and stab the table.
Whoa!
What the heck?
Okay.
The monkey, is obviously startled. It starts to fly away, but thankfully it has a leash on it. Hey, hold on, get back here. What is the meaning of this?
We are leaving.
Yeah, okay.
And she walks away.
What?
Fine, get out of here. I do not need you disturbing my monkeys. Go.
What in the nine hells was that about?
Yeah, that's confusing. Wait, there's 9 hells?
Yes.
Some religions there's more, but
Wow, it is a big world out there.
yes, I'm quite wondering. Care to explain?
That man was selling an animal.
Yes!
Sat the wrong way with me.
Oh, I get it. No, I understand where you're coming from now.
I'm sorry, I lost my cool back there.
Dude,
I'm just not used to more dominant races doing things like that, I guess is the right word.
do they not have animal husbandry where you're from?
Kind of looks over at Enoch and just kind of shakes her head. No. I'm a woman of the wild, seeing us more civilized folk attaching a price tag to an animal is unsettling to me.
Okay,
I'll
don't
be
take...
honest. I was like that too for a while, but I guess you eventually get used to it, coming into towns often enough.
Enoch's just making a mental note, never take a lease to a farm.
She lets out a sigh and says, anyway, we should probably settle down for the evening.
Alright. Let's see. Draco, I want you to have Dan make a perception check for me.
All right. Perception. 8.
8. Alright. As you're making your way around, there's one stall that you kind of passed a couple of times that it caught your eye. It's because it has this large leather contraption that's looks like it's a large piece of canvas that's off to one side that catches your eye.
Ben will walk up, curiosity getting the better of him. What is this? Exactly.
You come to look at my fine rain catchers.
Huh. I mean, I can assume from the name this catches rain and so you can drink it? Is that the purpose?
That is exactly correct, my friend. Oftentimes, the waters of the jungles of Chult are not very safe to drink, so one of the ways that people tend to, rectify the issue is by catching the rainwater. By using my rain catchers.
Very useful invention, yes.
Then we'll look to the people that still have money if they want to buy this because he is again tapped.
I mean, can you take these for, like, camping in the jungle?
That is exactly what they are made for. You simply just set the 4 stakes into the ground, the tarp stretches over, and he actually has one set up, and you see that towards the middle there's like a big giant funnel that looks like it has a cap that's kind of on it, and then you just take your water skiing or whatever containers you have under here, and you just fill them up with your rain catcher.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Let's get one of these.
1 gold piece.
And I hand it off to him.
All right, and he hands you a rain catcher.
Xeno would get one as well.
All right, you also have a rain catcher.
Okay.
I can make water, so I'm fine.
Huh.
I also have a spell that can purify any of that kind of thing. Yeah, I think I'm good.
Enoch's just like... Enoch's both processing the fact that apparently spells like that exist, and also, well, then I probably should have bought this, but oh well. Who knows?
I guess
Well,
we have
trust
more
me.
water now.
Trust me,
Well,
this
you
sort of stuff is very useful.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say about hindsight.
Okay. Well, I'm good unless anyone else has any ideas.
I think we're all set to take a rest before we head out for murder and other things.
All right. Well, you make your way back to Kara's rest. I'll just say, I'll abbreviate it to Kara's. I want everyone else to give me one more perception check real quick.
One more perception.
Okay.
That's a 5.
Same.
14.
Wick, you just had to be looking, as you're walking past Kara's, right next to the sign, you actually see there's a board there. And in big words, you see the word guides written on it. And as you're walking your way out towards the door, you look at it. You see there are several posters. Kind of like, looking for help. Looks like it's people advertising their services as, guides for the jungle.
He'll waddle up. He'll just take the paper, and then he'll waddle back to the group and he'll show it to them.
Okay, let's see, because you don't have a random one. Let's see which one you happen to grab. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There one. Roll a d8 for me, Wick.
D8, alrighty. Hibishki. 4.
4, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. You see a poster for this one. Let's see.
Oh!
You see it for this one. Actually, it was for.
Look at him.
Actually, it was for.
He looks
Scratch that. You
friend-shaped.
don't see that.
Dang it!
Okay, never
But you
mind.
do see this. My apologies. This. Actually, yeah, it would have this on there.
It would,
All right.
So it does have that on there.
He looks friend-shaped.
I remember this guy.
On it says, it's got a picture of, a rough-looking dwarf on it. It says, I've stood atop every mountain in Chult. I know every gorge and crevice, every plateau and trail. My memory is an iron trap. I forget nothing. Trust the dwarf, I always say, because the dwarf will never steer you wrong. Fearless I am. There's no dragon, beast, or undead horror that scares me. You want a guy who runs away at the first sign of danger? No, you want a dwarf, and I'm the toughest dwarf around. Red dragon bit off my arm, yet here I stand. Takes more than a dragon to stop you, Hackenstone. I charge 5 gold coins a day and expect a 30-day payment up front. Best coin you'll ever spend, I promise you.
Do
Oh,
we even have the funds for that?
Well, I didn't spend all mine. Although, if I get a map, I'm actually pretty good with directions. But then again, this guy looks really nice. But then again, we're gonna murder somebody that we're not supposed to talk about.
The less
Hmm.
people
But then
know
again,
about
I
that,
like
the
his
better.
beard.
All of this is just going in one ear out the other for Enoch as he's trying to contemplate 30 days times 5. He's not a bright child.
I mean, but for a month's worth of work, basically, that's not too terrible.
I think that's somewhere around 150 gold.
Enoch's like normal eye goes completely wide in fear, just trying to imagine again. 50 gold was more gold than he ever thought he'd see in his life. 150 is 3 times that. Maybe we come back to that. Right now we ain't got a lot of money and stuff.
Say one thing, you can't blame the guy for trying to make a living like that.
If he's as good as he says he is, absolutely. I'm a bit dubious of the Red Dragon claim, but I mean, we won't really know unless we meet him. And to meet him, we're gonna need money, which we lack. So,
Yeah.
Dan shrugs.
How about we just try? Yeah, let's maybe try to find a map for Wick. Let's try out the Wick plan first, and then when we figure out more stuff about this death curse, maybe we can look this guy up. But right now we're also
do have the.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say above game, you do have the guide that Syndra gave you. For
That is
as
true.
you know,
This would be up to you, Mila. I do also have the Wanderer background, which means I am excellent with memory for maps and geography.
That
I
is
can-
very good to know.
Yeah.
I believe I
Yeah.
also have that.
Yep. I mean, that's an option. I mean, that's up to you guys. You could go into the jungle without a guide. It's just that, I mean, there are other guides that are present as well. Like I said, you don't have to pick one. You could pick one. The choice is entirely up to you.
Okay.
Speaking of guides, I mean, like I said, there was a whole board there.
Well,
True, we could grab another one.
well,
All right.
I was about to say I didn't see the board.
All right.
My perception was garbage.
All right. If you take time to look at it, I'll just show all of the handouts to everyone.
Okay, here's the first one.
All right, so show that one, show that one.
Oh, those two look cute together.
That's a lot of guides.
That is a lot of
Mhm.
guides.
Right. Well, while we got a chance for this, do we want to maybe take a quick break? So that way...
Yeah. Kind of give you guys a chance to process. Use the restroom if need be. Probably go for a little while after that. But yeah, let's go ahead and take 5 or 10.
Yeah. I'll
Sounds
use
good.
the restroom and maybe
Yeah.
get more water.
Yay.
Yes. And also, hey Chad, how you doing? You enjoying the fun? Sorry about the little technical...
Yes,
Oh. Hey, DeLuna.
No, I was like, yes, I'm still here. But I was like, I don't really have anything where to go right now.
Nice. Well, I want to thank Wicked River 97 for the raid in case they come back in the VOD, because I saw they already left. But that was very nice of them. Also, thanks, Elpharat, Pixel, It's Pixel X, Stormfox116, and again to DJA, Mamiya, thank you all for staying in. It's been a hell of a fun time. Now I will leave you with DeLuna while I also use the restroom.
Yes. Hello, chat. If there are any questions you guys have, I'm sure I can try to answer them as best I can.
I've returned with a
Random
notebook because I realized halfway through I should have grabbed one before we started, and then I was just like, oh great, all of these proper nouns. Let's see how
Proper
good my memory
nouns
is.
and notes.
There's a lot of. I'm glad you're giving us the player handouts and all that, because like there's a lot of names.
Ah, yes. But yeah, how are you enjoying the session so far?
So far, it's pretty fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's kind of slow and it seems a little hectic, especially once you know, deal with these side quests and then actually getting into the jungle, but hopefully I can keep things interesting enough.
It's like we should stop talking to people. We got 2 quests in the span of an hour.
Mm-hmm. Ah, yes. Main quest, deal with Chult's death curse. Side quest, help this man maybe kill another man?
It doesn't help that my boys, I'm trying to play him as straight as I can. He's earnest, but he is not a bright child.
I have returned.
Also, let me take a quick look here. Oh yeah, no. We're talking about how we're already filling up with side quests as I fill up the screen with all of the people's signs.
With all the guides. Yes, because you have Chulton, 2 cat folk, normal dwarf, white-looking dwarf, man and halfling, woman.
So reading Misk and Flask, it's basically it seems like they're like, hey, you give us something shiny, we'll waive the fee.
Mm-hmm. For many wares.
We give you,
Answer Kashid.
you give us coin, we give you exploration. I was just like say this up front. Sorry, my voice like doesn't go with the same accent. I'm really hard about doing stuff like that.
It's all good. No one. Well, I was about to say no one's a voice actor here. Then I remembered. Oh yeah, Draco.
Yep, hi. I'm a voice actor.
I'm just doing the best imitation of my grandma, who's from Tennessee.
I have no vocal range to speak of whatsoever, so I'm just doing my best.
Glad to see people are having fun. And yeah, like I said, the core of the night was Wick, see the gore containers. Your pumpkins are a lie.
Your pumpkins
Yeah.
are alive.
Yeah, no. Chat love that.
Yep. I mean, like I said, and I knew this was gonna happen from the start. It's like, Wick is gonna be a precious small bean. I've only known them for 5 minutes, but I will kill everyone in this room and myself to protect them.
Normally that's my character, but now my boy, like, I'm playing out of type. I'm playing like a good-natured, sweet person instead of
Not
gruff,
good.
angry, and old.
Also, I'm probably missing like an hour's worth of context for everything, but
Yeah. Basically, the journey has been... There has been a death curse. People have been sent on an expedition in order to try to figure out the source of it. Everybody that was teleported to Nyanzaru from Baldur's Gate kind of gets some of the context for stuff that's happened. Unless they want to share with that in game.
And just so you can know his backstory about games, Zeno was literally teleported like I think I said like 2,000 miles away from where his adventuring party was,
Mm-hmm.
and he has no idea what the hell caused that. He thinks it was the fact that the last thing he remembers he cast Chaos Bolt, and now he's with this party. So he's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go with the flow because I have nothing else to do.
at least
That
you're
is
not
pretty chaotic.
at least you're not teleporting every 24 hours.
Oh, God. That'd be horrible.
Like I said,
Technically, we could try to do or make that a part of it, but I don't want to.
Yeah, and I know I've told you guys, and I'm gonna tell this to chat. I have played in the previous Tomb of Annihilation campaign, where we had a well-made sorcerer that rolled off of the D10,000 table. As we get to certain points in this campaign, I shall tell you about some of the certain happenings and certain results.
I played in a Tomb game like 2 years ago, and I barely remember any of it.
I've only ever played in homebrew settings, so I only know about 2 things in all of Tomb of Annihilation. And since we're nowhere even near the actual tomb, 1 isn't even gonna factor.
I have played Curse of Strahd, I DM'd, and I think the other 2 campaigns I was part of... Well, no, one was the beginning of the Tiamat one, Tyranny of Dragon Queen or something like that. It's been too long. We eventually dropped out of it because everyone couldn't get together. And then the other one, I helped playtest someone's homebrew campaign that they were setting up with Dan as my character, actually.
I've done Tomb, Strahd, Waterdeep, the one-shot module in the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, and I've done Horde, so Horde of the Dragon Queen. So that's my
That was
module experience.
Personally speaking, I've done 1 Pathfinder campaign, 1 shot, and 5 of the 6 campaigns that I did after that were all homebrew stuff.
I've only DM'd Humblewood and a couple of one-shots. Other than that, I played in a few.
Yep.
I DM a game on Saturdays. It's pretty much homebrew. It's really all I've ever done DM-wise.
I have DM'd Out of the Abyss, Waterdeep, Dragon Heist, Tomb of Annihilation with one other group, and now this group. And I've also played in Waterdeep, Mad Mage, Strahd. Oh, that's right, I also DM'd Strahd. Wish that one didn't go as far. Played in Frostmaiden, currently. We'll be playing in Witchlight after Halloween. So, that'll be fun.
Ooh.
I know one that I've always been wanting to try out was Saltmarsh. Ghost of Saltmarsh.
It's interesting for, just a bunch of adventures that are just kind of tied into an area. You can definitely set up something more from that, but it just seems like, like a hodgepodge of small little adventures.
Because they give ways to, transition, flawlessly between every single, particular game, so.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like the whole, dark pirate aspect of it.
Alright, well, I'm ready whenever you guys are.
Same.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm ready.
Alright, so, you have all of these postings that are here on the board. Yeah, like I said, there's a pair of tabaxi, there's 2 different dwarves, there's a man and a halfling, there are 3 separate women, and yeah, that's what you see as far as some of the various different guides that are posted on this board.
Well, I just remembered something. Tell me, what's your rule for, what intelligence is it for not being able to read? Because I need to remember if my boy can read.
I guess as long as it's 8 or better, you can
Okay,
read.
I think 10 is an average intelligence, so yeah.
Okay, then okay, my boy can at least read the languages that he has, so I'm gonna say that the second he saw, any of them that said 30 days, he just stopped reading them, and I'm kind of looking at the Salida handout now, and he just kind of like, oh, like, it's not so much that like he thinks Selena's good, it's just that when you read that, like, do you want me to read it or do you want to read it, Mila?
Well, you can read it out if you wish.
Okay. I'll just do it in his voice. I've led many expeditions through the wilds of Chult. I know secret trails that appear on no map. Hire others at your own peril. Azaka and Iku have led expeditions into the jungle that have never returned. Farul and Gandu are charlatans, plain and simple. Old Hugh suffers from mad monkey fever. I'm sure of it. Musharib is an albino dwarf, and they're not to be trusted. And I hear tell that River Mist and Flask of Wine owe money to the Zantaran. 5 gold pieces per day is a cheap price to pay for your lives. Spend your gold wisely. That does not fill me with a whole lot of, like, confidence.
Still,
Also, the casual racism towards the albino dwarf in there was something.
I didn't even know that dwarves, like, had that, so I don't know what to say about it.
A lot of them seem kind of mean.
Anyone else filling you guys with a sense of, like, anything?
I mean, River Mist and Flask of Wine are the cheapest for only 4 gold pieces a day, and they don't care about a front payment.
and if we give them something good on the from the expedition, they'll waive it off entirely.
Well, right now we don't really have anything to offer because we are... Well, first of all, we'd have to be like, okay, so we need you to take us to this place and then not ask any questions.
Yeah, I think for the fort job, we should just do that one ourselves, and then maybe get a guide later.
This Selena woman seems to know more than her fair share about her competition.
That's if she can be trusted. She might just be lying about everything. It's all like speculation and hearsay, really. Especially this line, Old Hugh suffers from mad monkey fever, I'm sure of it. Sounds like she's pretty convinced of that claim, but doesn't have any evidence of it.
True.
Or at least that's how I read it.
But aside from his looks like a friend qualities that Wick pointed out, he does not, like, if you would say he's not a stable individual, I would say that that's a 50-50 shot.
In this day and age, I'd actually be inclined to agree with you.
Okay, I say we just hold on to these papers. I mean, we've got them. Let's just see if we can find a map to this fort. Just, there any map vendors? Anything like that?
Well, actually, let me just double check here. Once I actually finish getting this loaded up in here. Actually, I'm gonna do you guys a solid as, let me just drag you over to here for a second.
Oop.
Because this is basically the copy of the map that, Silva gave you. Or Syndra gave you.
We already had a map.
Ah,
Yep.
okay.
A lot of blank hexes in the center,
Yeah.
I'm noticing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just staring at the one place that my eyes immediately went to, which is the Valley of Lost Horror. Or is that Honor?
I didn't see that. Oh, now I see it. Yeah, Valley of Lost Honor.
Alright, so where are we at? We're at the
You
big
are
port,
currently
right?
in Port Nyanzaru, which is here.
Yeah, so we're right there.
Right at the top.
But it's somewhat retcon it where it's like, this town is where Xeno's from. Right. Just because it's like, that looks about 2,000 miles. It's over mountains. Summit Arcs, or whatever how you call that.
Yeah, there's Peaks of Flame, Sky Lizard Mountains, Valley of Dread. I really hope we never have to go there.
Sounds dreadful.
Hard looks at camera. Okay, well, at least now we have an idea, but we're gonna have to cross either that, well, inlet, I guess it would be the term. But yeah, okay, well, we at least have a map, so we've got a general idea of where we're going.
Mhm.
So, we got a day until we gotta be back at the temple, so I guess we're good for the night. We got our rain catchers, we got our bug repellent. I think we're good.
We just have to hear back from the priest in the morning, and we're set to go.
All right.
Real quick, are there like ferries for hire like in town?
If you were to ask, there are. There's a couple of different ways that you could do that. If you were to ask around, you could have either canoes that you could possibly drag with you as well, or you could hire a ship in order to sail where you need to as well.
So I was thinking if we could like hire a ferry to get us at least over to the main like land, not get us close to the not get us close to the fort, but at least get us over into that general area that we could just, hike the rest of the way.
Let's see. I know there's stuff in here about hired ships. Chult. How much is it to hire a ship? I actually have to consult the DNG of that. Let's see. Yeah, I'll have to get back to you. I'm just kind of looking up those services. But yeah, otherwise, let's see. I'll say at this point, it's late afternoon, getting into early evening. If you wanted to, you could make your way down to the docks and ask around if need be.
I mean, we probably aren't worried about heading to the fort until tomorrow anyway, so not
Yeah.
a major concern right now, but I was just thinking save us some walking and, get us some more direct route to where we're going.
Just out of curiosity, what are we at, like, everyone's gold? I mean, I know I'm at zip. What's everyone else at?
I'm at 49. I've only spent 1 gold so far.
I'm at 58. I've only spent.
I am at 53.
Okay, so if we pool the money together, we could probably afford a ferry. I mean, it's probably not that expensive, but it's good to know.
Yeah. I don't think it's that expensive either.
In the worst case scenario, we could always pool.
All right, well, I guess we're gonna head back to our rooms and whatever happens there.
All right. All right, you managed to make your way back to Kara's in order to rest for the evening. The day passes, or the night passes, and you manage to get your long rest in.
Yay.
Before we go anywhere, Dan did want to speak with Enoch about his affliction again, and I did want to ask, I know Identify works for, like, identifying magic items. Could I, in theory, use it on Enoch's, like, metal bits to see if that could identify anything at all?
Given with what you know about Identify, identify specifically says that it is able to like identify if creatures or objects are affected by a spell, and is able to identify magic items. As far as if you look at his stuff there, you're not sure if you could use that to identify anything that's on there. I'll say that.
Well, I do cast it as a ritual, so it couldn't hurt to, at the very least, see if anything comes of it. Of course, with your permission, Enoch, I'd cast the spell, but it's just to figure out if it could identify what's going on with you there.
I mean, you can go ahead. I don't really know what's going on. Sometimes I feel like I get these feelings that I need to go in a certain direction. That's how I ended up in Baldur's Gate, but otherwise, I don't really understand what's going on with any of this.
Interesting. Have you had any dreams recently that seemed bizarre by any chance?
Milla?
Sorry, I kind of got distracted there as I was trying to look up
Yeah.
other stuff.
He just asked if I'd had any
Oh.
dreams recently. So
Uh Let's see. Have you had any dreams? Not recently, no.
no, not really. Just, Well, actually, I haven't had any dreams since any of this happened because, I stopped sleeping.
Ah, right. I think you mentioned that earlier. I'm sorry. That's fascinating. So do you, like, just stop moving and space out a little bit like elves go into a trance? Do you do something like that, or just nothing at all?
I just don't need to sleep. I get, like, worn out, but I just don't feel like I need to sleep or whatever. I just sit down and just, like, after a long run, just kind of, I try to pass the time. It helps that I know how to read now.
All right. Well, I'm going to try this ritual out, and Dan will wave his arms near Enoch's head, and he's not going to place his hand on the metal bit, but he's going to hover it sort of nearby, and he's going to say, I can find it really quick in here. There you are. Secreta revelatum. Does identify bring anything up?
It does not, unfortunately.
Dan lets out a sigh as the magic fizzles out. Darn, it doesn't seem like you're affected by any sort of spell.
I mean, yeah, most of the stuff comes from this thing here. He taps the almost eye-like center of that circular disc in his chest. Last thing I remember before this happened, when I fell down that, like, shaft in the cave, was seeing this thing embedded in the wall and feeling like, I should go towards it, which I wasn't exactly in the best frame of mind because I hit my head on the way down, and I'd already lost a whole lot of blood because of them bandits and whatnot. And the rest of it's kind of hazy. I remember, like, a whole lot of pain for, like, what felt like forever and then a short time at the same time. I don't understand how that works. And then vaguely I remember screams and then just waking up in the town center during the day. And, I don't really want to talk about that as he gets kind of a sad, faraway look in his eye. Well, the human eye.
Understandable.
Totally understand. Dan will look at the eye at the center of his outfit, just sort of staring at it. Trying to consider what it could possibly be. It might be some sort of being that contacted you? I can't say for certain. This is all conjecture, really, without properly studying it. But it's possible you stumbled into some sort of being that's guiding you somewhere. For what reasons, I have no idea.
Well, it's basically all I got to go off of. I mean, once I got done burying as many people as I could find, the chiefess of the goblin folk near the town She basically said, now that I got this in me, I should leave or else misfortune will befall everything, etc. You know, normal stuff.
It's the normal doom and gloom prophecy, as it were.
I mean, she seemed pretty smart. I mean, people didn't really like talking with the goblins, but they always seemed nice to me.
Hey, as long as you're all friendly with each other, I don't see the problem there. Right, well, it's getting late. We should probably, head off.
All right.
All right. So, yeah, you guys get your long rest in, and you manage to wake up feeling all rested. And let's take a look here, see what the weather's gonna be like today. Huh.
And
It starts to rain pretty hard today.
I was just gonna say, since we did a long rest, I'll keep my +1 in strength.
Sounds good.
I will be right back if that's all right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. Yep. As you go to wake up, the rain begins to pour quite a bit outside. And yeah, you can definitely hear it from inside of Kara's. So, I assume you guys all begin to make your way over to the Temple of Savras?
Yeah.
Dan's going straight there. Nothing else matters. Directly straight ahead.
All
Quick
right.
jump.
Yep. Quick jump. You manage to make your way in the pouring rain over to the Temple of Savras. And as you make your way inside, you see Great Father Satembe again as he's putting out some incense and he's beginning to light it, and he turns around and he sees all of you. Ah, my friends. I have consulted with my guides as seen fit. As the matter of the first vision I was consulted with, my visions granted me the sight of a jungle city far to the south, enclosed by cliffs and crawling with snakes, and a black obelisk draped in vines. Honestly, when I saw this vision, I dared not peer any deeper, but I feared it might have... My heart was driving out of my chest if I had gone any farther into it.
Well, that's more than what we had before. Jungle town to the south, black obelisks, vines.
And then the other matter of this Peggy you were seeking. My apologies, my visions were not able to grant me anything in her regard. I am so sorry. As he goes to look, he kind of hands you a coin purse. Since my visions were not able to give me anything, I shall give you back what you paid for your services.
So I get 25 back.
Yep.
Okay. It's fine if you couldn't find anything. You couldn't find anything. It's frustrating, but I guess I'll keep looking my normal way.
I'm very sorry we couldn't help you with that, my friend. But if you need concerns with matters of other varieties, I will be able to see if I can help you in that regard.
I think we're good for now. Thank you.
Very well, and as you make your way out back onto the rainy streets of Chult, and as you're kind of looking at the streets, these are very wide streets, and as you're kind of looking at, the shoulders of the street, you see that there are very wide channels that are actually pretty deep on each side of the road, and yeah, you see the water actually is filling up rather quickly in those gutters.
Wow. It's really pouring out here.
It feels good. I like the rain.
Well, okay, let's try to figure out how we're going to get to this fort. So, do we want to try to find a ferry, or what do we want to do?
That was gonna be my suggestion.
Alright, I guess
All
we
right.
head to the docks.
All right. I guess if somebody wants to roll an investigation check for me.
Sure.
That's just something we can all do.
Yeah.
Alright, 11.
13.
11.
Dan isn't going to. He's pretty bummed about not getting any information. He's just sort of sulking in the rain right now.
I'm back.
Mood, man.
Back.
Sad violin in the rain.
You said
Yeah.
investigation, right?
Yeah.
Good thing about having speakers.
Uh,
I'll take that first one. I accidentally
Yeah.
clicked twice.
yeah.
Net 20 wasted.
I know.
I'll be fair. I messed up.
It's fine. But Elise, as you're kind of looking around the docks, you do manage to spy there is one ship that's currently sitting at port. As you're kind of looking at it, you see some letters on the side of the ship that say Brazen Pegasus.
She'll try to, like, if she can see, like, a crew member or somebody that looks important, she'll try to flag them down.
Alright. You see, there are some men that are just kind of loading up some stuff. There's... Oddly enough, as you're kind of looking around, you see there are a couple of dockhands that are actually carrying horses onto the ship. Which is odd now that you think about it, because all you've really seen around here are, those giant lizards that you kind of seen walking around. And as you were walking up to the dock, you do see there's a couple of more of those giant lizards that are kind of moving barges along. But yeah, like I said, deckhands are actually carrying horses onto the ship. And you see this big burly looking human that's got a very long gray beard. As he just kind of looks at you.
Yes, good morning. We were perhaps interested if you would be willing to ferry us to a particular location.
He thinks about it for a second, then he turns on and yells, "Captain!" And you kind of see at the gangplank, kind of stepping out of the side, you see a gnome, actually, a very short figure, actually, begin to walk down the gangplank.
Afternoon. You must be
Yeah,
the
what
captain.
is it, Grig? Yeah. And he just kind of points over to the group, to a lot of you, and you see this gnome just kind of walk out. Ah, greetings! Captain Orme Swift and Dark at your service of the Brazen Pegasus. Can I help you?
Yes, Elise Renwood. I'm sort of a hunter around the lands. We have a job to do in particularly towards kind of the northern point of the island, and we're wondering if maybe you could give us a lift. We'd be able to pay for the trouble.
Where to do you happen to be heading?
I give them the name of the fort.
Ah, Fort Beluarian. Huh, as it just so happens, I am happy to deliver a shipment of horses up there. You're more than welcome to join us. Should be about, if the weather's good, it should be about 10 gold a day for each of you.
Dan looks up if the weather is good in the torrential downpour.
Well, we can try and set off for tomorrow. Assuming this rain dies down a little bit, at least.
How many days trip is it?
Oh, it's days. It takes hours. Only like 10 hours from here to there, if the weather's good.
That would significantly cut down our time that we have to deal with. But it's up to the rest of the group if you want to vote.
Vote.
Yeah. Elise would rather take the boat.
Yeah, the boat would be better.
Alright. Never been on a boat before.
Same.
Me neither.
Wick is already running up the gangplank.
Wait,
Oh,
no,
I've
he
been
said
on-
tomorrow!
I've been on many.
Let's see. I'm already forgetting her name. How dare I? The captain just kind of looks off and it's just and looks up to Greg and says, "Well, you know what to do." As a couple more horses kind of get ferried on, Greg just kind of turns around and starts barking. "Get those horses tied up! Come on, get them below deck! Make sure the rigging's all nice and set. We want to make sure everything's in tip-top shape. You hear me?" "Yes, Greg." You hear a whole bunch of people chime in.
Elise would actually kind of like try to strike up a quick conversation with Greg and be like, "So, speaking of the horses, I figure most people here use those lizard mounts. I figure that the horses don't get used as much. Why would the men at the fortress particularly need them?"
He just kind of looks at you, just kind of gives a groan a little bit. At this point, let's see. Ornament just kind of walks over and she just says, "Well, those flaming fists, they're definitely fond of their horses."
The what now?
So you know of them.
"Ah, yes, the flaming fists. They're the ones who run Fort Beluarian." That's odd. It's like normally they don't really... Horses don't really go through the jungle that well, which is why when they often need them for whatever it is they do with the horses, sometimes they joust, sometimes they walk along, sometimes, they really like their horses, so they often have them brought in by ship when they need them.
She kind of squints at that, but doesn't really pay it too much attention.
Anybody that wants to, anybody wants to give me a history check real quick when he mentioned the flaming fist? Anybody who's proficient with it?
I'm not proficient, but I want to do it anyway.
I'm also not proficient, so I'll just sit
Same.
this out.
I don't know how he'll have heard of it, but I forgot that I had proficiency in history, so 14.
14. Enoch, you know that the Flaming Fist is basically a private military organization? They're based out of Baldur's Gate. And they tend to they have their own self-interest when it comes to a lot of things.
Well, I assume someone is paying them. Does anyone else operate out of this fort that you know about?
Well, they might get the odd folk that comes in here and there, but I've heard there's one guy out of there that tends to, oftentimes they try to go into the jungle and they basically have claim to any unexplored part of the jungle, as well as they try to go in and try to deal with all the undead.
Okay.
Elise lets out a scoff at the mention of owning a part of the jungle.
Not to mention that anybody that tends to explore into the jungle usually needs to get a charter from them.
Good to know.
I think we can all agree that 10 gold for a boat ride is a lot cheaper than 5 gold a day for the jungle.
Yeah, so you said we would have to leave out tomorrow, though, right?
Well, I probably won't call until in the afternoon, but if it does die down a little bit, we can at least try and set sail and try to be there before nightfall.
That sounds great.
If it only takes a couple of hours, as long as we have the window of opportunity, we might as well take it.
Alright. That sounds like a plan, and if I think we can take off, then I'll be sure to let you know.
Great. I'd like to confer with my friends for a moment here, as he says, first trying to find Wick.
Oh, yeah.
Wick is trying to find the horses.
Oh.
So Wick is running below deck then, because
Yep.
you've seen some of the horses getting brought over. It's kind of weird. They have they basically have a crane arm that's kind of got a platform on it. They walk the horses onto that, and they flip open the cargo hold door, and they basically get lowered down into it.
Hi, horsies.
Wick, we need you back over here, please.
He perks up
Okay.
and he waddles over.
Thanks. Okay, guys, let's just walk over here. Well, hope to hear from you soon, Captain.
I'll still be here.
Nice. So, we may have bit off more than we can chew. We should go talk somewhere where there's less people, so they don't hear us talk about our special mission.
Elise nods.
So, wait till we're in an alcove or something. It sounds like the streets are pretty dead because of the rain.
So we may or may not be killing a mercenary captain.
Yeah, no, also, we probably don't want to make them too mad because, like she said, we need the okay from those flaming fist fellas to actually go into the jungle and explore, which sounds like is what we're gonna do because we have no idea where this lost city is. Because,
That's
you know,
right.
Yeah, it's
She
almost
would
city.
when you say that, she would actually almost intervene. The jungle is not owned by anyone. We can go and come as we please.
Yes, but they might actually try to stop us. It'd be easier to just humor them for a little bit, just so we can not have them be an issue later.
As it sounds, I'm tending to agree.
But aren't we supposed to save the other man?
that's what we are going to try to do. It is just far more complicated than it already was.
But if
To
he
get
is he a bad man though?
I mean, from what it seems like, he just ate a weird fruit or something, and that's bad. I don't know. It was like a mad monkey dance fruit or something. I don't know what the relevance is to that.
I feel like monkeys wouldn't taste very good.
Ah,
But the way I see it, if we're going to supposed to kill the man over there, then we might as well, because if we go into the jungle and they try to stop us, we're gonna kill them there too.
there's a lot
At
more.
least that's my plan. I don't want to die yet.
That's fair. I also don't want to die. But at the same time, we won't have to deal with them if we just completely ignore it. And what do we really owe this man? He didn't even offer anything to pay us with, and I mean, it seems callous to say, but we barely know him, and we're risking our necks for him, and
He asked for our help and we said yes.
that's technically correct, I suppose.
He sounded really nice.
To be fair, as much as I would love to throw him under the wagon, I think it's already hard enough that I have to stay up all night. I'd rather not have to stay up all night thinking about the man who asked me for help as he was dragged off in chains. I'm just throwing it out there.
that is, I have again. That's a fair point.
There's a very, very high chance that that man will not survive this executioner's walk, or whatever they call it.
That's true. I would feel bad about it. It's just, I don't see how we could feasibly do it without causing ourselves even more hardship in the end.
Well,
What?
what if we kill the guy and then we become the bandit kings? Or mercenary, whatever they are.
I mean, I suppose we could try to sneak in somehow and do this cloak and dagger style. That's gonna take a lot of doing, though.
A stealth mission. I can do a stealth mission.
Snake, this is a stealth mission.
I mean, I could cast Disguise Self on myself and look like one of them if I was able to see one of them up close. That might be able to get us through.
Yes, but if you get caught, that'd probably be a lot worse for us.
True.
I think we're dealing with a lot of unknown unknowns, and we barely know what we're even doing, so how about before we have a plan, we first see what's going on? We got like a day, maybe? Let's... Oh, there's a lot on our plate. There's a lot on our plate.
Yeah.
Alright. So, as you guys begin to contemplate more about your plan of action for the day ahead and your voyage to Fort Beluarian, that is where we're going to end our session for tonight.
Yay!
Right.
We have stuff we need to decide.
Yeah.
Oh
Uh-oh.
boy.
Oof.
Robot alert! Robot
Yeah.
alert! Robot alert!
Just dealt with.
Kill it with fire.
That was fast. I didn't even see it.
Yeah. We had a few others just before the break, too, that I dealt with.
Well, I'm certainly glad that, I'll be honest, I haven't had to deal with sailing with this stuff before, so this will be interesting. What happens next week?
You're welcome.
Well,
I
yeah.
I just can't wait till I actually start casting spells and you all get to realize what type of baggage I'm bringing to the table.
I can't wait till I cast my first spell in general because my first actual spell, you never know what will happen.
Yeah, to make up for the lack of, I mean, we obviously had social encounters, but, like actual combat encounters, I will definitely make sure to make up for that next week.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been more terrified if in the middle of the city we just got jumped. I'd be like, okay, well, we haven't even gotten to the tomb. We haven't even mentioned a tomb. Why do we have to die?
Suddenly, here's a dinosaur.
But yeah, this will be great. Oh man. But yeah, I can tell this is gonna be a great party. Just everything going together. And again, Caitlin, the bean you're bringing with us, I can't get enough of them.
Yay, I'm glad.
Yeah, I like.
It's almost unfair that you're playing such a cute character.
Like I said, it's everything I thought Bumpkin and Pumpkin would be.
Yes.
Wick is very wholesome.
All right. So, Sean, you want to go ahead and take us out for the stream then, as you tend to do?
Who's Sean?
Vaughn. Vaughn. That's it, Vaughn. I like Siobhan. Wait, who's Siobhan? You know who I mean. You, the MC in charge of this whole thing.
Hi there, everybody. It's Burnout Vaughn. Thank you for coming to our channel for the first episode of Chult of Personality. I know there was a little bit of a hiccup mid-stream that I will try to fix. I guess I now need to learn how to video edit, but we'll try to get that up on YouTube. It'll be on Burnout Vaughn at YouTube. So keep a look for that. I'll try to get all the VODs, as many as I can, put up as we start streaming. This will be a regular thing on Tuesdays, provided all our schedules work.
Yeah.
So, is there anyone else who would like to plug anything before we start getting ready to sign off?
I guess just one more quick round for anybody that kind of showed up late. Let's go ahead and start with Chocolate, because you came in last time. You shall be first now.
That makes sense.
My name is Choco Zombie 101. You can find me on Twitter at Choco Zombie 101. I just share random stuff. You can find me on Twitch at Choco Zombie 101. I don't stream, but I'm usually lurking in chat. So there you go.
All right, Draco.
All right.
Hey everyone, I'm Draco Magnus. You can find me on YouTube under that exact same name. Currently, I'm doing a Let's Play of Omen Exitio Plague, which is styled after a 80s and 90s Lovecraftian tabletop game. It's been pretty fun. I do horror games in October. I do RPGs during the normal times. And I have a Twitter. I'm at DMagnius there. I'm also a voice actor, so if you need a voice actor, you could, contact me via that Twitter.
Okay, DeLuna, go.
Hey everyone, it's Luna13. You can find me at Twitter at DLuna1338 and on Twitch and YouTube at at Luna13. I am currently not doing anything on YouTube other than like posting occasional meme videos, but I'm thinking about actually starting that up again.
Alrighty, Caitlin.
Hello, I'm Caitlin C37. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Caitlin C37, where I do art. Commissions are open if you want them, so just find that information on my Twitter. That's pretty much it.
And finally, our Dungeon Master of Ceremonies one, Mr. Milla Ninja.
Yes, hello. You can find me on Twitter at MillaNinjaNerd. You can also find me occasionally at twitch.tv/MillaNinja. And you can also occasionally find me on playing in twitch.tv/Lejake, where I play in his Trials of Eidos campaign, a homebrew setting. And yeah. Yay me. And yay our host extraordinaire, Bernal Vaughn, last but not least.
Yeah, hi. Tune in. We might stream some more Code Vein tomorrow because we love playing our little vampire accident child that is the Vampire Burnout. Oh, the story is so fucking edgy yet funny. Like, I love the game. It's the first time I've ever enjoyed playing anything Souls-like, and now I'm addicted. Oh. But yeah, keep an eye out for that, and I will try to keep people posted over on my Twitter for whenever I start getting the episodes for this up. So that way you can keep in the loop and don't have to worry that if you miss an episode, you can catch up, because we're just starting on this adventure and we hope you get to enjoy it along with us. So aside from that, is there anyone we got to raid?
Let's see.
I got Caliban playing Sea of Thieves.
Yes, I for one also can vote for Caliban.
I think my friend Pixel is streaming, but I have to check to be sure again. Pixel X. No, it looks like he's not streaming anymore. I
Yeah,
think he streamed earlier.
they stopped in for a little while we were playing.
Oh, I didn't see him.
Yeah, he followed. Don't worry, they'll be along for the ride too. So, okay, so that sounds like everybody for Caliban. So, alrighty.
Yeah.
I guess our raid message will be, your pumpkins are a lie.
Yes, and I think it has to be.
I am good with that.
Absolutely, it has to be. Your pumpkins are a lie.
Perfect. Okay. All right, everybody. So get ready for Your Pumpkins Are a Lie. Thank you for coming out, and hope to see you again soon.